Going live? Live, I'm going to say. Bangkok, Oriental setting, and the city don't know that the city is getting creme de la creme of the chess world in a show where everything but Yul Brynner. Time flies, doesn't seem a minute since the Virulent Spa had the chess boys in it. All change. Don't you know that when you play at this level, there's no ordinary venue? It's Iceland or the Philippines or the Hastings or this place. One night in Bangkok and the world's your oyster. The bars are temples, but the pearls aren't free. You find a god in every golden cloister. And if you're lucky, then the god's a she. I can feel an angel sliding up to me.
Is anyone here? What did you find?
You are listening to Supernatural Confessions. Good Friday evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Friday Night Live.
Hello.
And with us, you have your host, that's Jonathan Lim, and myself, Eugene Tay. So if you are very new to our channel, welcome to Supernatural Confessions.
If there's anyone there who's brand new today, please give us a shout so we can welcome you. And some of you are new again for the first time tonight.
This week.
So, yes, like Nevin Network, for example, who is asking what happened to Eugene's hair. Come, Eugene, explain what happened to your hair.
I don't know, guys. My hair just seems to have a life of its own. It grows and some days it's good, some days it's just not so good. I have no idea how to deal with it.
Must be the hair too.
Yeah,
Is it? Wow, I don't know, man. Okay, I just want to ask who was first because now it's a huge mystery every week, right? Because now
Mm.
the YouTube thing doesn't allow us to access the beginning of the chat. So those of you who are in at the beginning, please let us know, okay, who deserves to be celebrated as first. On
Mm.
my chat is Alsatian Adrian Chua, but oh wow, WSA is saying first. Okay.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
WSA
Okay.
stand for
So
what? A work safety.
Work Safety Authority. Is it? All right. Well done. Thank you for keeping our workplaces safe. All right. John, louder. Am I
Yeah,
louder?
you're
Do I
loud.
need?
I pump up the
Do
volume
I need to
already.
be loud? Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Tiabo, I can't see me. Okay. Never mind. All right. Abba, can you hear me now? Okay. Good.
Chris Pilgrim, greetings from London. Hey, hey, hey. It should be morning there.
Hey, let us know if you're listening in from overseas, so we can say a special hi, a long distance hi.
Yeah.
Wow,
So
so many
this
people. Today.
week is actually a community choice week. You know,
What does that mean?
that
Tell us what
means
that means.
how we all started. If many of you who are not yet on our Facebook group and you're listening to us on YouTube, so what happened
Mm.
this week was someone posted on a story about Bangkok,
Mm.
their experiences. And then
Mm.
someone else got inspired by that and says, hey, I got experience too. And then he or she posted because most of them are posting anonymously. And then
Right.
Cara, one of our moderators, right, says, hey, since there's all these Bangkok stories that she has to approve and the team has to approve, she started this hashtag SC Bangkok Week.
Nice.
And then that opened up the floodgates, and everyone's like, throwback 10 years ago, 16 years ago. So there's a lot of people with Bangkok stories, and and they were calling us out. It says, hey, this should be on Friday Night Live. Let's see what the hosts have to say about this. And this week, we actually have Eugene Toh, E.T., what a Hall of Famer, one of the first era hosts on Supernatural Confessions, coming up here to dissect it. So if those of you remember Eugene Toh, you remember something called the EMF, electronic magnetic
yeah.
electromagnetic field. I also forget already. So what we usually do is when he says EMF, we drink it because at one point almost every confession was an EMF. So he has a lot of
I
fans here
see.
tonight. I think with I see it in the comment section, like KK Heng and all that say welcome back. So I
Okay.
think let's bring that man online. What do you say, John?
All right. Can. So Mr. EMF himself, ladies and gentlemen.
Eugene Toh, Master CSI.
Welcome. How long has it been since you've been here? Someone in the group calculated nicely for you, right? How about 30 months?
30 months. Yeah, man. Oh,
So how have you been keeping, man?
Wait, someone say can't hear me.
okay. Now can hear it.
Oh, no. Okay.
What like that?
I-
Because
I
you
have
know why I cannot censor?
I have
Because
to
you know
pai
why?
pai.
It's not the hantu, it's always the EMF, so they have to censor me. I'm
does
so
that
sorry.
does that count as the first one?
No. Yeah, like EMF already have
Does
to
that
drink
count?
already.
All right, drink.
Cheers,
Mm.
guys. Can hear or not? You all
Or
can
you,
hear.
I bring 2 bottles today,
No,
no?
all those fellas that cannot hear, you all better drink first.
If you see us drink, just drink, okay?
Yeah.
All right,
Okay, man. Good evening, everyone. Great to be back. Honestly, very rusty. Haven't been doing this for some time. Been really busy with family and stuff.
Mm.
So thank you guys, Tay and John, for asking me to come back this evening.
Very excited to see you here. Wow.
We've been
It
wanting
feels-
you to come back for so long, but Friday is very precious to ET. He has his family and all the stuff.
Mm.
Yeah,
What are
man.
you usually doing on a Friday night when,
Me,
when you're not with us?
Around this time, I sleep already lah. I jaga my Anna until I teruk already, tired already. So I sleep already.
Wow.
No more what investigation tour. No, I sleep already.
Hey, no more investigation already. What happened?
No lah. If the hantu want to meet ET, they have to kind of look for him lah. He's not gonna go look for them already.
Ah,
lah.
Already, they want to meet me. They fix an appointment in the morning.
Wow.
Wow. Make a booking.
Hey, ET,
Yes,
you know,
sir.
you remember Joel Go or not?
Yes.
So Joel Go, knowing that you have coming back tonight, he has designed a poster for us.
Alamak.
Ooh, come. ZZZ.
He's always with interesting stuff. How is
Paranormal
it?
Investigators. And then you look so
Walao.
cool with sunglasses and all. Then our profile pic on Facebook. Pair
This
of
one-
normal investigators.
Oh, some paranormal. This one paranormal.
Oh, paranormal is what?
Ah,
Like,
paranormal.
Thank you,
Wow.
Joel. for
Thank you,
this,
man. Thank you.
nice.
So
nice
cute.
gag.
Ah.
Yeah, very cute. Lots of love, man. Lots of love.
Wow. Wow. So tonight's topic is gonna be like huge and broad because there's so how many confessions do we have, Eugene?
We have
7. Am I right?
first time, unprecedented, the most number of
Wow.
confessions in one Friday Night Live. 7
Uh,
confessions tonight.
Are we going to make it to the end, man? I tell
I
you.
got a feeling it's going to be at 12 o'clock. Considering that we have no featured confessions on YouTube today, we're moving some things around. So Friday night seems to be always rushing for time. So we are moving the Friday night featured confessions to a Wednesdays, and Friday Night Live can run a bit longer.
Yay.
And we got some more stuff up prepared for you lah. So I don't want to spoil the surprise just yet.
That's why I got 7 stories. That's why I wear cap. Not my hair. More hair will fall off. That's the problem.
Okay, lah, but the 7 stories are all quite short. Lah.
Yeah,
short,
very
short,
interesting
yeah.
stories.
Yes.
But the discussions will be long. Because everyone's got something to say about Bangkok,
Right.
right? You know, Bangkok is very close to our hearts.
I mean,
Especially Tay. I'm sure he has a lot of things to talk about Bangkok.
wow, I tell you.
But that's the other kind of story. That is the paranormal. Okay, those are the paranormal ones. Okay.
EMF,
Get us
EMF.
Okay.
No, get us cancelled. You said it again. You said it again. Hey, does it count when he randomly mentioned?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Yes, it is. It does,
also
it does.
count.
That's how I control the night. Yeah.
I need
That's
more.
how
drink.
Tim usually gets red faced before the end of the night.
No, there was a name, not red face. What was it?
Timato.
Timato. Yes,
Timato.
Timato.
Yeah, all these fan creators.
Awesome.
Okay, so to kick off the night, also in tribute to Kim, who always starts off with a joke, a kind of joke. I thought I will do this one for you guys. So this one is confession by Din Z Sharif. I too had a very scary experience with Bangkok. Story goes like this. I had a friend who just went to Bangkok and came back walking weird. He told me that he got his groin swollen during the trip to Bangkok. He said the pain was supernatural. Ask him what happened. I regretted my act. Because whatever happened to him got transferred to me. He asked me, what's the capital of Thailand? I replied, Bangkok. Suddenly I felt such tremendous pain in my crotch area and passed out. We are no longer on talking terms, by the way.
Did you come up with that yourself?
No, that's by Din. Din posted on Facebook. So he put it in the comment section. It started off very nicely. So I pay attention to confession. I read like, wow, this one got to me, man.
Come, let's debunk that one.
Bangkok, people, for those who have not caught the joke, so it's Bangkok. Okay, so.
Okay, let us know if there's anyone who needs further explanation, all right? And Eugene will demonstrate graphically.
One-on-one.
okay?
One-on-one.
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 Yeah, but as I said, we have 7 confessions for you today, all from Facebook group, from our community themselves. And thank you so much to the moderators, especially Cara, for setting up this campaign. In fact, I want to throw a challenge to the moderators because moderators have been doing a wonderful job moderating, approving this, the rejecting. But I thought what would be really fun is when moderators get involved, almost like the gatekeeper, almost like the leader of the pack, coming out, spotting trends and coming out with things and running campaigns like that. If it's possible, I'm thinking we'll have one of this massive campaign every month. And we don't know what you guys have for us, but we will take one Friday Night Live and dedicate it to the community's voice. Can I, John?
Yeah. Sounds interesting. Sounds chaotic as hell. But let's see what happens.
Okay, so we have some stories. Shall we go with the first one first, called Entourage?
Yes. Okay. This first one is very controversial. Okay. Eugene thinks there's nothing much to say, but E.T. and I think otherwise.
There's nothing much to say because clearly it's the Hantu, guys.
Pui. Okay. So
You want to start drinking? You want to start drinking again? Is it?
Gotta be the Hantu lah. Oh yeah.
we shall see.
We'll let the
all right?
community decide, guys. I'm going to read to you the story and I'll let you to tell me in the comment section. It must be the Hantu or it. It can only be. Okay, let's go. The Entourage, confession by Anonymous. This happened 16 years ago. I stared at a leaf that swirled helplessly in the wind after the taxi made a turn into WR. Before I knew it, GCP's porter opened the taxi door and greeted me with a warm welcome. I was on a business trip to Bangkok. Since it was my first visit to Thailand, my husband joined me midway through my trip so that we could explore the city together before heading back. After dropping my stuff at a hotel room, I made my way to a cafe at the hotel lobby to wait for him to get in. The waiter hesitated when I asked to be seated at a quiet corner. because I needed a private place to complete some urgent work priorities. To my surprise, the waiter seated me on the inside of the long walkway where I saw the quivering leaf earlier on. People can access the walkway from the cafe through a pair of swing doors, but the walkway was empty that evening and the doors remained tightly shut. My husband arrived shortly and waited beside me for me to be done. When I was finally done with work, I gazed at the empty walkway outside and wondered why it was so windy that evening. Suddenly, the door started to glide open outwards in a creepy, slow motion way and stopped halfway. Strong gustly wind blew past me. Weird as it sounds, but it felt as though two invisible servants were at each side, opening and holding on to the doors for them. Yes, them. Because I literally felt an entourage float through the doors, past the back of my seat, and into the aisle that led towards the front, where the crowded part of the cafe was. Curiously, the door closed gingerly as the entourage moved away from my area, and the winds outside ceased almost at the same time. I was in complete shock and looked to my husband for validation, but he just dismissed my experience and urged me to leave the cafe quickly. Was the door an automatic door? Was it faulty? I don't recall it opening on its own any other time when I was seated there. The wind blowing against my skin indicated that the flow of air was moving towards the door, and the wind was what had blown the doors open. It should be blowing it outside and not towards me. Why did the doors only open halfway and hold their positions? How come the timing was so tuned in a sense that the wind ceased at around the same time the door closed on their own? These questions played in my mind like a broken recorder when we toured Bangkok that weekend. As we went about the day, it became clear to me that my husband had also witnessed the incident, but was only too eager to let it slide. But not for me though. So right before we boarded the taxi to the airport, made a dash towards the swing doors to check things out. There were no visible electrical controls. It wasn't an automatic door. They were heavy, sturdy metal frame glass doors, the sort that required one to use significant body weight to push against whilst opening them. Eerie breeze at night wouldn't be strong enough to blow the doors open, let alone hold it in place. Ding, ding, ding.
All right. Nice.
Mm.
Nice. Okay. Come, ET, take it away. What do you think is going on?
So what do you want me to say, man?
It must be the
Please
hantu lah.
continue.
Don't say what Eugene wants you to say. Come. Give us
Okay.
your treatment.
So, okay, what's interesting is, firstly, the story is about this door opening and halfway, and it's not full. So that's why I think actually it might not be something paranormal, because you'll be surprised at how strong air pressure can be. I'm not sure how the structure of the hotel was, but generally I have seen places where, because of certain changes in air pressure, doors actually do move. And like she said, it didn't open fully; it only opened halfway. So, which is why there's a chance it might not actually be a hantu. It might actually be a certain pressure where I don't know, either because of wind or maybe because it's so enclosed the space, so the pressure is pretty tight over there. And then when maybe one of the service door opens, it causes a change in pressure, causing the doors to actually just move slightly. Because I do not know at what angles it opened until. I do not doubt there was not electrical and stuff like that. Definitely not a EMF. Oops, did I mention
Yeah.
EMF? Oops, did I mention it? Oh, I'm so sorry.
Aiyo.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Purposely, Okay.
Yeah, so I don't think it was that, but probably some sort of air pressure.
Air pressure.
Mm.
So imagine Merlions is saying he was also about to say air pressure, but then he reckons the weight of the heavy metal frame glass door doesn't sound like something air pressure can move easily.
You will be
Ah.
really surprised
Mm.
because it's glass door, but the metal frame. I
Mm.
mean, if you've seen most structures of how glass door are,
Mm.
it is not a full metal frame around. It's probably just the base of it because that's where they can lock it. You see, I mean, I used to come from my NS. I served in a certain military area. There were a lot of glass doors, and to be honest, sometimes I cannot explain why it moved as well because it was physically locked. So that one is something else, and that we leave it to another day because I don't want to spoil the Hantu versus
Don't want to play into
yeah.
don't play into Eugene's hands. Okay.
Yes, but because it's probably just the base of it, there was a metal frame. There is a very high chance air pressure can cause the glass door to just swing open.
I mean that explanation actually leads us to have more questions, right? So like you say, right, the angle of the door, I think is something I'd like to know. Is it really just a little bit, or is it significantly, right? Halfway meaning what? 45 degrees, 60 degrees? We don't know, right? Also whether or not it was airtight. Because some doors don't even sit airtight and air gets in and out. If it's much more airtight, then yes, I think air pressure is quite likely, right? Like just before a storm, windows opening everywhere, right? And it can be quite spooky. But I tell you what's mysterious, and she pointed it out herself, right? The doors open outwards, but the rush of wind came inwards towards her, past her and her husband to another part of the cafe. And I think that was what is hardest to explain. Because if it's an air pressure, right, low pressure outside, the doors open out, I can understand. But if the doors open out and then a gust of wind coming in, it's strange.
Actually, there is definitely a possibility because the air pressure within, right, it's got nothing to do with wind. So when the air pressure forces the door open, I can't remember, outwards or inwards? Outwards, is it? Outwards, right? So, and it goes outwards, you get a cold gust. So, assuming there's a difference in temperature on both sides of the glass door, you will definitely feel that so-called drift or that cold wind or something like that. Yeah.
Anyone out there who is into the thermodynamics, for example, right, can help us think about this, right? Is it possible for air pressure to push doors outwards while wind comes inwards?
KK agrees with you as well, John. No, ET. He says, air pressure got nothing to do with wind.
I know they're separate things, but I want to know whether they come together because when the air pressure pushes outwards, there is a movement of air out.
Yes.
It's not wind, but the air is moving out. So you have air moving out and wind coming in. What's happened? Then it become a cold front, warm front, and then rain will start. I don't know, man. Right? I don't know, man. Must be the geography. Okay. So, Eugene, what do you think?
Okay, I feel that again, most of these stories tonight, you'll find that it's very easy to sit on the fence because as far as confessions of this nature goes, it's very much someone's experience. There's not much details. There's always one person's experience over another. Because the husband was there, and the husband was like, no, it's not me. And he's reading the late slide. So to me, it's unless two people witness something and it's irrefutable, chairs levitating, okay, sure, that goes without saying. It's not nothing to do with air pressure or window or the wind. But in this case, it seems that she's the only one who experienced it, and for whatever reason, there was a continuation of the experience. And to me, that was where it's scary. Now, I'm not saying that it happened or it did not happen, right? We can science it 3 ways to Sundays. But for her sitting there, seeing all that door opening, nobody, and then she said she felt. To be fair, she felt it. It was not an evidence. She felt that there were two people holding the door and them. So she didn't mention who them was, but she said an entourage, which would mean somebody walking in almost like a Grim Reaper or an underworld god, and there was entourage, of course, behind him. And they walked past her as she felt that. To me, the entire vision, the entire sentiment, again, whether it's true or not, is freaking scary. Because the imagination takes over, and you are there alone in that place, your husband dismissing you, and you felt all that. That's a scary part. And I can imagine the fear that when she was sitting there. I would, if this was a movie, I would be spooked.
I don't think the husband was dismissing. He actually did tell her, let's get out of here. Right? Correct. I think he felt spooked as well. Right? He just didn't want to deal with it.
Yeah,
right?
So now I'm putting it to you guys, right? Did the husband feel spooked and then he leave? As in, hey, wife, Giala, let's go, don't talk, don't say it. Or did he go, are you done yet? Can we go now?
No, I don't think so.
No, huh?
I don't think so because he did not deny what happened.
Actually, I think it's because she was not clear with exactly what the husband felt.
Yeah.
Because from what I read in the confession,
Mm.
she didn't say whether he agreed or he didn't agree. So that is an X Files by its own.
But there's
He's
one
the
part
mystery.
when they were going out for the weekend outing. She said that it became clear to her that he had witnessed the same thing.
Correct. But was
Mm.
too eager to let it slide.
Yeah, it's like
Mm,
You know,
he
so
probably
I
say
feel
things like, "I saw the door, but yeah, must be the wind lah."
mm.
Yeah, things like that.
mm.
I think okay. What's very interesting is there are so many questions I need to ask that lady. How long was the door open for? Is very important. You know, I
Mm.
think if it's one of those again an air pressure situation, I
Yeah.
don't imagine it will be that long, right? You know,
Okay.
it will swing out and swing back, right? It won't take
Mm.
that long for the air pressure to stabilize.
Mm.
But if it stayed open for a curiously long time, long enough for your whole entourage to come in,
Yeah.
then that makes it a much more mysterious thing,
Mm.
right? You know, I'm also very curious to know what made her think of an entourage. You
Exactly,
know,
exactly.
because that's quite a atas sort of vision to have, two doormen and then there's an entourage, and and that leads Eugene to think is a deity, is a hell god.
Yeah.
It could equally be just two kids holding the door open for a bunch of other little kids to come running in. And that
Mm.
the not so atas version. Or it could be a whole tour group that died in a bus crash and now they're coming checking in, right? But what led you to think so classy? What inspired that
I
feeling, right?
I,
I'm
I got to
curious.
think it's probably the setting. Long corridor, hotel lobby, door open.
Mm,
It just seems
mm.
majestic. Doesn't seem like a bunch of kids running in. Just feels like if there was a soundtrack, it would be the Imperial March. The dun dun
It's
dun dun dun
it's a
dun.
hotel. It's a hotel cafe, leh. It could be just hold the door open to bring a cake in. It could be, but I'm very curious. I'm very curious. If you're out there, whoever shared this confession, please give us more information.
Mm.
Or add to it in the Facebook group. We are always eager to continue investigating, right? We like cold cases, all right. You know, but
Yes, in
okay,
fact, I
yeah,
was just I mean, just as John brought up, I'm really curious how she envisioned it being two doormen and an
yeah.
entourage. Maybe it's interesting to find out what her occupation is. Maybe because
Ah,
she comes from a background of something of creativity and stuff like that.
mm,
Which is what we had a conversation. I had a conversation with John just before we started the show. He
mm,
asked me what I always think about the paranormal is. So not dissing anyone, but
mm,
or majority of the time, sometimes it's because of how our mind conceive things or the experiences we had in the past couple of days or after some time.
yeah.
It might make us actually imagine certain things we may not actually be happening and actually make it into like a movie kind of thing. I'm not saying everyone's like that, but that could be a possibility.
Mm, mm.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And again, the setting, right? If Eugene is right, and it was really a 5-star, 6-star hotel, then yeah, you would think entourage much more than if it was Novotel or something, right? So it really does depend on the setting, lah. And whether you're a fan of like Entourage, the series, uh, yeah, I think what we experience physically, right, and what can be witnessed by, let's say, her husband, right, who seems skeptical, right? I think there are physical manifestations that need to be explained. On the other hand, the interpretation that we place on the thing,
Mm.
right, and who we think is dealing causing it to happen, that's up to, I guess, personal flavor lah, personal taste. So she's an entourage type of person lah. Mm.
Hey, Iti, are you winking at
Mm.
people?
No, I
Yeah,
didn't. My eyes
it,
small. Who's that? Disturb me? Is it my eyes
Huh?
Elaine
small?
says.
I
Elaine
wasn't winking.
says. Yeah,
Oh,
Eugene Toh looks like he's winking at me. I better
Better
slow
slow down.
down. It's okay. Keep going with the soju and let's see what else Eugene
Okay,
Toh
okay.
does to you. All
Uh,
right.
okay, Eugene Toh. I mean, I think that first confession sets the tone for the rest of the confessions tonight. As you can see, where each of us stand. For me, I'm about the hantu, and I love to imagine everything as far as possible to be about the hantu. Then we have Jonathan Lim, who's all about the logic. Hey, hantu is possible, but where's the law behind it? Give me the logic. Oh no, it did not happen.
Correct. Cannot hantu randomly. Okay,
Ah.
there's no such thing.
And of
right?
course, you have CSI ET, who will use a lot of science. If you have seen, especially in the first confession, how he signs it away, and that's what the CSI stand for. There's something to do with science in there, I think. I forgot what you call it. Okay.
I also kind of forgot what Tim said, but it was something about critical
Scientific investigation.
supernatural investigator. Sorry, Tim, help me out.
Okay. Never mind.
Critical supernatural investigation.
Something
Or
like that.
Okay,
critical.
Yeah.
Never mind.
let's slowly come up
Critical,
with
critical.
one. Okay, what does
Okay.
CSI mean? Let us know. Okay.
Now, in our second confession, we have Eugene Toh reading this confession by Thomas Wang. It has actually 4 parts. Go and check out the Facebook group, Supernatural Confessions Facebook group. They have other great confessions by Thomas Wang there. One of it involves his late wife. And in this confession later on, he did reference her. And if you get a chance, do read it out. But for now, let's listen to The Tour Guide Knows by Thomas Wang.
Back in 2014, my wife and I went to Thailand for the very first time for a holiday. We booked a hotel with a great landscape view of Bangkok. We did the usual Asian pantang thing like knocking on the door 3 times and put our suitcases in before we went in. Everything went smoothly during the day. We went to shop for clothes, had some drinks, and headed back to the hotel by nightfall. And that's when weird things started happening. The door handle started rattling, as if someone was trying to get in. My first thought was that maybe a prostitute was trying to go to door offering her services. But then I recalled that all guests are required to tap their key card before accessing our floor on the elevator lah. We stayed on the 70th plus floor, so not likely someone would climb the stairs up either. This went on for the whole night, but my wife and I chose to ignore whatever or whoever it was outside. The next day, we wired a tour guide to bring us around Bangkok. I related the experience to him, and he seemed concerned enough to suggest that he would bring us to a temple for blessings, only if we're okay with that. I thought, why not? Since we're already in Thailand and it's a land of many temples. We were given an amulet to hang in our room for protection. My first thought was, really, can meh? But at night and the remaining 5 nights, everything was quiet and there were no disturbances. When I asked my guide about the history of the hotel, he kept quiet. Maybe the locals might know of other hauntings taking place in the hotel.
Jing, jing, jing.
Okay, come, Eugene. Why don't you start us
Lie,
off?
lie, lie.
This one, Okay, so the first question I have in my head when I read this confession is, I never check what's outside.
Because not everyone is you lah.
Whole night, he said the whole night thing. I never check. Then if you think it's a prostitute, then all the more have to check lah, see whether hot or not, right?
Worth the money or not?
I think if the prostitute is going door to door in a 70 floor hotel, I think not worth checking lah. Not worth checking. Rejected by the previous 69 floors.
Ooh, 69.
Don't.
But what I like about Thomas is it's not Thomas Wang, it's Thomas Wong. I think I might
Thomas Wong.
Yeah,
Hello, Thomas Wong.
Yeah.
Okay.
He knocked on the door,
right?
And he put his suitcase in first before entering. Now, so that's something new for me. I did not hear about suitcase goes in first. So maybe we can talk about that in a bit. So these 2 things really jump out at me. Firstly, Thomas is the kind of guy I would love to hang out with, because when he hears knocking on the door, first thing he thinks was a prostitute. Then he thought, how can it be? To me, that is a sign that Thomas is a funny guy and I would love to hang out. And he's
Don't bluff lah. You just want to go to rooms where prostitute open the door lah.
Yeah lah, exactly. You just want to be in his rooms without Thomas there.
In Thailand, you never know whether it's Jamie or James, so you got to be careful.
It's okay. It's Thailand, so assume it's James.
Inclusive
okay.
lah.
And then?
Then he's so quite chill lah, And he told the tour guide. Obviously, it bothered him enough for him to tell the tour guide what happened. Right? If it didn't bother him at all, he would not even mention it because he just forget. Then the tour guide is like, either the tour guide is trying to fleece him for a good coin or something. He's like, come, I bring you go temple. You get this amulet you put on door. The ghost won't disturb you. So then he go, and I like he goes like, really can man, so chill. And then nothing happened. But did nothing happen because it's the amulet? Or did nothing happen because that haunting was just one off, or it was just something else, right? So again, this story has so many ways to look at. Can I immediately jump into this and say it's the hantu? I can't, because knocking on doors or disturbance don't last the whole night to daybreak. Yeah, so tough on this one. So I'd love to hear what you guys have to say.
it wasn't knocking, The
That
It was the
the
door.
haunting element, yeah, it was
rattling.
rattling,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is much more disturbing
Yes.
because there isn't the
Physical.
courtesy of a knock. It's
Mm.
just I want to get in, I want to get in. Why is
So
it
it's
locked?
more of a what we term as a poltergeist
Hmm?
activity. Yeah.
Hmm?
Mm.
Or someone double book the room lah, and spend the whole night trying to get into his room, tapping his keycard, cannot get in, right? I mean, okay, so I'm very interested, right, in the fact that, and this is shocking to me, right? Every week, right? We talk almost every week. We talk about the pantang, right?
Mm.
And
Mm.
Et, you were bringing up the pantang earlier, right?
Mm.
And he is extremely cautious, this Thomas, because not only does he knock, but he also, out of courtesy, put the suitcase in first before stepping in himself, right? In case if the ghost doesn't welcome him, you can throw the suitcase out or something. I don't know. It's like just in case, right?
Yeah, but what's the
You
suitcase
know?
thing? That's the first time I'm hearing it.
Yeah, lah, before you step in, put something else that the ghost can be violent with, rather than
Really?
you.
Is that the idea?
If you're really cautious.
It's not like Ghostbusters, is it? They put the what do you call that thing to trap the ghost one?
Ghost
What's that?
trapper.
Oh yeah,
What's
yeah,
that?
slide the thing in.
Ah.
maybe it's a special suitcase. But I mean, if you are really conscious about not intruding,
Mm.
right? I would probably, lead with my belongings rather than lead with myself, right? In case you are the unwelcome one, right? Hard to say, right? Maybe the ghost take your suitcase, then the door slam. Then, but what frustrates me is, so he does the ritual. He even goes one extra step, and he still gets haunted because the ghost is not in the room; it's outside in the corridor.
Ah.
So he's actually safe in the room. Is the other thing wanting to come in? So how? Is there a pantang for the ghost in the corridor? Because tonight there will be other confessions where the ghost is outside the room.
Mm.
And then how? Go in also must not the other side, is it? Guys, if you know of any other side of the door pantangs that can protect us, please let us know. Okay, because now I'm very nervous. 'Cause after you close door inside, you'll be trapped inside forever. Outside the whole corridor,
Speaking
all
of
ghosts.
trapping inside forever, there's just side segue to a hotel room in Indonesia when I was there during the SQ days. And I went to one room and there was poltergeist activity. Things were moving around. Television turned off. Hangers fly across the room. Shower turned on and off. So obviously I went down to the counter and said I want to change the
Wait, so
room.
my question is, were you alone or were you with
I was alone.
someone
I was
who
alone.
caused all this disturbances?
I was alone. Yeah, so neither confirmed nor denied. No, I was alone. So later on, I found out from the seniors that actually that particular room is haunted. And I said, how do you know? He said, if you look on the door frame, there were 3 nails. So what does that mean? 3 nails is to keep the ghost inside that room so they don't come out. So I literally went into with the inmates inside.
Okay.
So they were obviously getting a riot on lah. So, but I guess the 3 nails also prevent ghosts from coming out and ghosts from going in.
Okay. So that's another pantang lah. Look out for 3 nails,
3 nails on the
above
door
the
frame.
door. Which part of the door frame?
Right at the top, the middle part, just 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
The nails are not hammered all the way in. The nails are sticking out
Above your head lah.
above your head. Yeah, because you have to walk
Right.
underneath.
Plus, is to hang your taekwondo.
That'll be inside
On the
lah.
outside, right? It's on the outside, right? Okay. Wait. Premier Mitsui is sharing that he used to have maid knock on my door twice. When I asked her next morning, she said not her. Even recognized her voice calling sir. And then another one says someone kena the handle rattling on my honeymoon in Japan before. Quite scary.
Oh.
When we checked, nobody outside. Wow, and we corner room some more. This is
It's
from
always the damn corner room, lah, guys.
Witchy you make. Why is it always the corner room? Is there a reason? Anyone? Is there a focus? Is there a focal point to that?
My law
Is that-
my logic
your
for this,
law?
right?
Your law.
Energy flows, and then right at the end, right, it becomes a stagnant pool of stagnant energy, like a stagnant pool of water. So when things flow, right, like even in feng shui, when things flow, that's where you get good luck. But when the air don't move, I mean, in a particular place where your air cannot circulate, that's where bad juju happen, right? Bad feng shui. So when you get corner rooms, that's where all the damp air, the stagnant air is, the energy is. So if a ghost is supposed to walk through and stay in one place, the corner room is where it is. So there's so many confessions. Even tonight, you will hear a series of confessions. It's always about the damn corner room. So even if it's haunted or not haunted, by anecdotal evidence alone, you guys should just avoid the corner rooms.
We had a very good confession about a corner room some time ago, right? Where it was not just a corner room, but it was a corner room with a hidden room behind a wall that was revealed in a dream. That's very exciting. So please go back and look for that one. That was our episode on hotels.
I think that's
Am I right?
episode 6, either one. Yeah.
That was quite exciting. All right. Oh no! So how like that? So what do you guys think about this? Was it really something outside rattling, or is there possibly another explanation?
From the comment section, people have been saying, oh, maybe it's the aircon van. That's when it blows, it start the cold air and warm air and the metal start to contract and expand, and then it start to rattle right the whole night. I mean, there may be some.
Must be the air pressure.
Yeah, today must be air pressure. But if that's the case, then it should happen every night. Why only the one night? Or why only after they brought in the amulet, then they all stop? It should be consistent. Science should be consistent. It should be a repeated pattern. But in this case, one night it happened, every other night nothing else.
So was it really that the talisman was useful? I'm curious. I'm curious about this guide, right? Only when he heard the story, then he decided, I bring you to temple, right? But it's a city tour of Bangkok. You're going to a temple anyway.
For sure, yeah.
For sure, yeah. So and if you go to the temple, you're gonna be sold an amulet anyway. Right? That is normal. That's SOP, right? Haunted or not is gonna happen. But E.T., what do you think?
Okay, so I'm going to share a bit about old wives' tale what we're supposed to do before you go to the hotel room. I mean, it'll be a great discussion if you guys can just write in the comment section on what you know and what people have your parents, especially parents, tell you right? For me, being the science guy, my friends do that. I just say, doesn't work lah. Okay, so one was knocking the door 3 times. Okay, actually not 3 times, they just knock. To me, that one's very scientific. I'm sure you've been in overbooked hotel rooms before. I have actually gone into a room and there's a couple inside. Okay, so please knock on the door. It's just basic courtesy. This one is interesting. Leave your shoes the wrong way. That means you will flip the shoes.
Yeah.
Because they said so the spirits will be confused and cannot follow you. I really don't know. I don't think they are so bodoh lah. That's what I feel lah. Plus, it's a bit irritating if you want to hurry up, rush out for the taxi or to get your Grab right, and then your shoes upside down.
Actually,
I really don't know.
We've talked about this particular shoe one before.
Oh, okay.
Right? And the logic from my grandmother got different grandmother got different tales. Huh? So my grandmother's tale was actually that it's to protect you, right? Because you're sleeping in a unfamiliar place. Right, and when your spirit, leaves your body to astral travel or whatever that might happen in your sleep, right? You don't want it to go astray and not know the way back. So they believe that by putting the shoe the wrong way, your spirit will get up, see the shoes so confusing, lie back down, and not leave.
Okay.
Yeah.
Logical.
Otherwise, it will go stray.
Okay.
But yes.
I don't think it's the ghost follow you. Like, can you imagine the ghost follow you? All right, guys, you can follow this guy home. He's our ticket out here. Then he flipped the shoe. Foil!
Never see before shoe like that. Why the shoe, the sole face up?
What's wrong with this guy?
No, we can't wear his shoe. Oh, we cannot follow him. Damn.
And then they get scared of you, right? Okay, what
and
else?
Then the other one is never sleep opposite a mirror. Because they believe that your soul get trapped. But I think, you see, with Tay, this kind of hair, just now he combed now, right? You imagine he wakes up and looks in the mirror.
Wow.
Confirm is he see a Medusa lah.
The jump scare.
Yeah, confirm. And then this one is interesting, which I've never heard before. One is, okay, and they're kind of together. One is never leave. Okay, so let's say you go into a room and there's 2 single beds. Never leave that single bed empty. Okay, I don't know what that means because I think they will take it differently, but what they meant is mess it up. Don't leave it empty. Don't have someone else there. And the other one is
okay.
Basically just mess it up because it cannot look so neat because it looks inviting for the hantu, I guess.
Okay.
And then the other one is never leave your luggage empty. Means when you unpack, right? Don't unpack and then everything out lah because I think they're scared you tapao something back. That's something I never heard of, but sounds interesting.
Or you scared the ghost climb inside.
That's why lah. Then after you tapao home, then how come the weight limit? How come the exceed?
Wow.
What I hear is you cannot leave the bed empty. So if you are living alone and you have 2 single bed, the other bed you put your suitcase. You don't leave it empty.
Right.
That explains why the prostitute was trying to help by
Oh
rattling
yeah.
the handle.
Any empty beds, Any empty bed? I feel for you. I feel for you.
Someone on the
Okay, so
comments.
so
Yeah, sorry, go
yeah,
on. Mm.
yeah. So moving on,
Mm.
on sharing. I don't know. Tay, are you going to continue with the superstitions? Because then
Yeah,
I'm going to
Yeah.
get
superstition,
into the CSI.
superstitions.
Okay,
This
then you
is
go ahead first
exciting.
before I continue with the
All
CSI.
right. One of the other superstitions is this one is on Facebook group where someone said hang a red T-shirt in the room at the doorway to scare away evil spirits. Now I've heard the same thing in army where you would hang red underwear at your cupboard to chase the ghosts away.
Why at the cupboard?
Because in
That's
Tekong,
uh
if
oh
you
in the locker,
in the
In the
locker,
locker.
right? In the locker, because
Okay.
you know the jumping locker story, and you put things in there, ghosts follow you back. The locker door has knocking sound, right? That's the very popular SAF story. So for army boys, they hang red underwear on their cupboard to ward away spirits. And
Okay.
in the pantang that somebody shared on comment section is to hang a red T-shirt at your door.
Wow.
Hmm.
But then it seems to have a limited sort of limited efficacy, right? So if you hang one in the locker, then it prevents your locker from jumping. Then if you hang one on the bed, it will stop your bed from jumping. Then if you hang one on your partner's bed to stop him from bugging you in the middle of the night. So basically, all your clothes should be red, and you should distribute them around the room equally, including on the empty bed. Correct? And then if there's a mirror, you cover with a red cloth.
So Singapore flag also boleh lah.
Can.
Can. But don't let it touch the floor. You will kena trouble. That one a different pantang.
Yeah.
Okay, this red underwear, red underwear in particular, right? If those of you who love watching Hong Kong horror films, for example, will know how useful it is, right? To always wear red underwear in case got spirit, you can put on your head, right? And then there's a certain formation you can do, stand on one leg, and you are very safe from there because no ghost will want to harass someone who does that, right? But on the other hand, it's also dangerous to have red underwear. You heard about this?
No, why?
Very dangerous for Chinese, right? Because we believe in the Se Gui, right? The lecherous ghosts are drawn to red underwear. So having red underwear, even worse, wearing red underwear will attract them.
Does it only attract the female ghosts, the male ghosts, or what?
That one I think is up to Eugene to go and investigate.
Okay.
All right. All the haunted hotels in your red underwear. Let's see what happens.
I'll take one for the team, guys. This morning I wake up smiling, I know it's a female ghost. This morning I wake up my pantat pain, I know it's a male ghost.
Right.
Must
James
be
or
red
Janice.
tongs, must be red tongs.
Red tongs. Wow, I tell you that with the amulet hidden inside. All right. So yeah, I think the red underwear thing can go both ways. Like it depends on where you are and what setting you're in. Right. So it's a bit tricky. But what other pantangs are there, ET?
I mean, that's all I know because usually when I go to the rooms, I really just go inside, open the whiskey or the wine, and have a drink first.
And that's
then
all.
usually that chases everything away. Yeah.
You BYOS lah, bring your own spirit lah. You don't need to come already. This room got spirit
Correct.
already.
Yeah, it's either whiskey or wine, different kind of spirit.
Yeah, that's why. So actually the best way is you go in, you open the bar, you drink because you have consumed all the spirits.
Exactly.
The room is safe.
Yes.
Right. Actually, the mirror thing, according to my grandma, is the same for all houses, all rooms, right? Never place a mirror at the foot of your bed so that you don't face it when you wake up because, again, your spirit, when traveling, might mistake the reflection and go into the mirror instead of you. So same logic as the sleeper.
But for me, I always have the scientific explanation. You just see yourself when you get kanchong.
Or if not kanchong, at least just self-esteem. If you wake up not looking your best,
Yeah.
you start
you
the day.
imagine Tay with his hair in red tongs. He wakes up and look in the mirror.
It's like,
Wow.
not worth waking up.
Ooh, baby. You hot stuff.
Oh no.
Okay. Are we done with this story? We've got a lot more to go tonight, guys.
Okay, just a quick one. Okay,
Yeah.
so I think if you guys continue reading the stories, which I believe is on your page, Tay.
Yeah.
So this story actually has a continuation. So it's really interesting. If you guys read on, his wife, sadly, I mean, so all due respects, his late wife, seems to have some sort of ability. She seems to attract entities, and they seem to want to communicate with her. I can totally relate with that because sometimes I feel that way as well, but not as much as how she felt. So I really think that because of that, it might have caused them to experience this door handle kind of incident
Oh, actually, that
instead of
changes. Yeah,
instead of an
that changes
overzealous
everything.
prostitute, yeah.
That changes everything because the same thing happened to my friend, right? So the two of them went traveling. They went to Phuket, right? And this
Mm,
was shortly after the tsunami,
Mm.
mm,
right? Many years ago, right? And the town was recovering. So they thought they go there, because cheap, right? So they
mm,
went to the hotel, he and his friend, one room each. And the next morning, the friend at breakfast, lah, right? The friend looked damn haggard, really, really tired, right? Then he asked the friend what happened, couldn't sleep well. And he said, no, I cannot sleep at all. The whole night, the spirits were lining up to my room to pass me messages. And he had filled an entire notebook with messages that he handed to the bellhop and said, nah, these are all the people who died in your hotel. And they have things to say, right?
mm.
He was not allowed to sleep because he was the
Wow.
first person since the tsunami to walk in who could communicate,
Okay,
right?
that's a very interesting story. Yeah.
So the presence of this wife in that room would have caused, a rush, right? Or people or someone, or maybe not many, I mean just one, who
Mm.
desperately wanted to speak to her,
Mm.
couldn't get in the room, and rattle,
Yes.
rattle, rattle. And then maybe with the amulet and all that, realize that cannot lah.
Yes.
I'll never get in.
Now with this extra information,
Yeah.
right, it makes a lot of difference, guys.
Because
Mm,
the persistence is
Mm.
very telling,
yep.
right? It's not just play. Nobody has time to play the whole
Mm.
night,
Yeah.
but yeah. Interesting.
So with
Wow.
this new
Okay.
angle, I think I can I speak for the all the hosts here. I think everyone seems to be agreeing is that
Mm,
we feel that there could be the wife obviously in that based on that story she has a third eye. She's able, okay, read the story. The cliff notes is
mm,
she's able to communicate with spirits and God. She has third
mm,
eye and very very intuitive. Died young, and
mm,
if you read the story, it's not just her sister, her father all died, the whole
mm,
family, right? So there is some form
mm.
of power and curse.
Yeah.
So it
So
could
it's
be
a powerful gift, not just a casual third eye,
mm,
but a family gift.
yeah. So
Yeah.
being in this same room with him, it, see, I'm using a bit of logical thought here. If the whole night the door is kakak, 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 right? Any
Mm,
logical person is going to go out, complain, scold, or at least report.
mm,
I've got a feeling the wife says, honey, just ignore it. Because she
mm.
knows. Everything's outside trying to get in to talk to her. But because he did a knock 3 times and the suitcase thing in, all that goes, alamak, cannot start, jam already, cannot come inside. Then with the amulet some more, then that's it lah. So,
Actually, I suspect as her husband, he probably instinctively knew
mm,
that it was not something worth opening the door for,
mm,
right? Because it's a very simple thing to do to just check,
mm,
right? Just check. Why not? Right?
mm,
But he didn't. He tried to rationalize. In the end, he decided, nah, it's okay. Don't try. Don't open. Right? So I think he, used to living with that wife, used to the kind of situations,
mm.
yeah, that she causes around her. I think, yeah, unconsciously, he did not think it was a person.
Okay, sorry, I just got two more quick points to share.
Mm,
Um, the Thailand versus we all know it's a very religious place. Okay.
mm,
At the same time, the people there are generally very superstitious. Okay, so the amulet may actually work. Okay, but
mm,
coming from the scientific point of view, right?
yeah,
Sometimes when you know that there's something there, right?
mm,
Psychologically, you know that you actually have protection.
that's
So
true.
it might be more of a psychological thing than an actual spiritual thing. I mean, with all due respect to all
Mm,
religion, I mean, this is
mm,
just what my point of view is. It may be right, it may be wrong.
mm,
But then because of that, it makes you feel more protected. Like I've always shared in the past that sometimes when you are praying, right,
mm.
you're actually talking to your inner self. And that's how
Absolutely.
it actually solves most of the problem.
Yeah,
At
yeah.
the end of
I'm.
the day, I feel just use whatever that makes you feel at peace.
Mm.
Mm,
And on the
I,
tsunami thing, right?
mm,
Sorry, just a quick one.
yeah.
I was there, I think 2 months after the tsunami.
Mm,
I went there. I actually went diving. I wanted to see like maybe I could find some Rolex watch or some hantus swimming around. Honestly, it was very peaceful. But what was more heartening was because it was purely a place of people that rely on tourism, right? They were
mm,
helping each other. They were not selfish. They're like, okay,
mm,
I do one day, you do the other day. To me, that was the most heartening. I did not experience anything paranormal, although
mm,
Phuket and Khao Lak had the most deaths.
mm,
But generally, I felt it was a very peaceful and calm place. I didn't feel anything sinister and stuff like that. But I had friends who lost many, many friends
mm.
during that tsunami.
Mm. I
Yeah.
mean, Premium Matsui is sharing Phuket plenty after the tsunami. My Thai wife say that locals saw unrestful spirits. Monks went to bless the spirits to meditate and let them reincarnate. I mean that story moves me lah, because after a tragedy like this, the fallout is both physical and supernatural. And there's a lot of pain that needs to be dealt with no matter what. Responding to Et, your point about the how these amulets and charms and things work, right? I do
Mm.
totally agree. It's what we call it's our new para hantu territory, right? Where the magic in the thing actually leads to a transformation in the self, right? When
Yep.
you have an amulet or you have a blessing or you have a charm, what changes? Is it the physical object that is glowing like in the movies, or is it you who has changed because this thing has given you a confidence and a strength? And I feel that that is the change that the spirits will recognize.
Exactly.
It's not the object, but it is the person that they are after. Suddenly strong, suddenly confident,
Your
suddenly not
so-called
scared.
spiritual strength and your aura gets
Correct.
stronger as well.
Yeah, so it's a psychological change, and I think these two things I don't think they debunk each other.
Mm.
It's not either or. I think that is the way magic works.
Yes.
Magic works because it changes us, not because magic is a thing itself. It
Exactly.
is us, right? We manifest the change, and that's important, right? That's
Mm.
why you can give magic to certain people and nothing works
Mm.
because they're resistant,
Mm.
right?
Yep.
So I think the more we go into the supernatural and trying to understand it, the closer it becomes to our psychology,
Mm.
and the answers I think often lie in us. So
Okay.
wow, not bad, not bad.
Good.
Hey, two big thank yous to go out there.
Yeah.
Elaine Chua for a big donation, a big coffee donation, and Joel Go also for a $50 donation.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, Joel.
And I think at this time, we'd like to give a big shout out and thank you and credit to our Patreons. So
Mm,
we launched our Patreon at Supernatural Confessions last week. And I say a
yeah.
big thank you to Elation Adrian Chua Elaine for taking the topmost, highest tier, the sentient
Wow.
membership. We also have Deborah Confield, Chia King To, Joel Go as well, and
Thank you.
Karina for
Yeah.
the spirits tier. And of course, Kenny Chia,
Nice.
Grace Jerron Ko, and Tan Si Chia in the souls tier. So thank you very much. For those of you who do
Nice.
want to get a bit more out of Supernatural Confessions, want to get behind the scenes, get to be I even got tickets to give away this week actually. Movie
Oh,
tickets,
okay.
yeah.
But
But
please join us. Yeah.
yeah, so if you want to join us, get all these extra perks, go to Patreon. That's patreon.com/supernatural confessions, or you can make a donation to us or buymeacoffee.com/super confess, or just click on the dollar sign on the comment section right below there, and you can put in any amount you want. Right. Thank you very much.
Nice.
All these little, little tributes and
Mm,
donations and contributions from each and every one of you goes a very long way in helping us put this show and future shows together. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
All right. Moving on.
Moving on. Next one is a very cute story. It's also an anonymous one. This one has, I don't tell you too much about it, but I'm going to let John read it to you. It's titled The Cowman Calleth.
True encounter by my 15-year-old son. It happened in Thailand, Ubon Ratchathani province. He was living with his mom in a newly built house for the first time. The first 2 nights were all right, but something strange happened on the third. My son called me at midnight while I was away at work in Singapore. Pa, I cannot sleep. There are strange noises outside the house, behind the walls only. I'm scared, he said. My son was sharing the room with his grandpa, but can't seem to wake him up. So he called me, knowing I would be awake and available at this hour. I asked him what kind of noise it was. Some cow mooing in a very deep manner, but it doesn't sound like an animal entirely. It sounded more like a human. He described that the voice was so distinct that it sounded like it was in the room. I tried my best to console him that it's just a cow making weird noises at night. And it probably sounded exceptionally loud because in those rural areas, the nights can be extremely quiet. Also, around the farm area, there are probably some cows nearby. But it's not a cow, I'm sure. It sounded more like an old man mimicking. I had some weird thoughts, to be honest, but I didn't know what else to say except to promise my son that I will stay on the phone until he sleeps. I shared a YouTube link to a Buddhist chant, hoping that it will calm him and help chase whatever that haunting is away. He slept not long after playing the clip in the background. I related the incident to his mom later on, and this is what she said. Yes, I know what happened. I didn't hear it the first few nights. It was only on the fourth night that I heard it, and I know it is from the kitchen. Thinking it could be an intruder, she armed herself with a kitchen knife, but she was alone in the kitchen. She recited some prayers, and both the feeling and the noise disappeared. It happened just weeks before the house was built. An old man brought his buffalo to the grass field. The buffalo unintentionally impaled the old man and killed him right where the house is now built. It all makes sense now. She engaged some monks to do prayers and also invited the deceased family members to the ritual. No further occurrences after that. The cows are still there, but not the cowman. Ooh,
Oh man, I like that.
the cowman. I tell you, that creeped me out. Okay, the moment the son said, "It's not a real cow; it's an old man mimicking," like, wow,
You can hear it, right? It's not like the
like,
animal moo.
oh,
It's the
such a
voice
cinema moment.
of an
Yeah, it's
old
like,
man.
ooh, creepy. Oh,
I mean,
okay.
usually I'm used to ghosts going boo or ooh or moaning, right? But when
when
ghosts
they go moo,
Moaning.
mooning,
yeah.
yeah.
Wow, the ghost that went moo. Okay, that's the title you should have given it. The ghost that went moo. Okay, so quite an unusual one. With a very nice backstory. How, E.T., do you buy it?
Okay, so now what's interesting is the 15-year-old's description of the sound. Because
Mm,
I actually went to research on the various sounds of cows and water
mm,
buffaloes and stuff like that.
yep.
A water buffalo sounds very different from a cow. So it's not mooing.
Mm,
So it's really very accurate about what he said. It's a
mm,
very low kind of mooing kind of sound that
Oh,
sounds like it's
mm,
coming from a human. I can't
mm,
make it, but it really
mm.
sounds very different.
Okay.
Uh, Somewhat
Okay.
like that.
You're gonna
So
get cancelled by all the cows. Okay. Right.
the next thing is this. So it's firstly, it's definitely not cows. Why that's important? Because in the story,
Mm,
the guy actually says that they actually rear cows, so we can
mm,
deduct that off
right.
from a possibility.
Ah.
Next, from the story, it's obvious that the mom actually knew, or the guy's wife actually knew
Mm,
the story of that man getting impaled by
yep.
the water buffalo.
Mm,
The important question here is, does the son know the story?
yep.
Because if he knew or overheard the story, then I wouldn't be surprised that he might have experienced the incident, because it's like, what we call self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
mm.
Yeah.
But if he didn't know of the story,
Mm,
then I will be amazed.
yeah.
Then again, the story did not really complete. The guy got impaled by the water buffalo, but was he killed?
Died.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
he
died.
died. Ah.
He
Oh, okay,
died
okay.
right where the house was built.
Okay, because I didn't see that part
Yeah.
on the story. Okay,
Ah.
so he died.
He,
Okay.
he died, and then the house was built
So
sometime
then
later.
my next question is, so if the guy died, why are
Mm,
we hearing sounds of water buffaloes and not a man screaming?
mm,
So if it's really a so-called haunting, right, then shouldn't it be that of a man screaming? That's what I would ask lah. So
mm,
I feel this story is really interesting. I think what's important is the facts, is whether the son knows, because definitely the wife knows. So definitely, there's a chance she can have this
yeah.
self-fulfilling prophecy. But does
Mm,
the son know this story?
mm.
That's my main question in this story.
Yeah, I think that's a very important question. So, anonymous, if you are out there, please let us know, right? This very important detail, right? Did the child have this story in his mind, and might it have influenced what he imagined?
Mm.
Mm,
Uh, it sounds like quite a scary story to tell your child, but you never know, right? He might have heard it from the other kids or something, right?
mm,
Um, I think I'm okay. This is interesting. This is quite unlike me. This is beyond logic, right? But there are situations, all right, in which you have a strange transference, all right, when an animal is involved in human tragedy, right? You always get the sense that there's a kind of blending of souls, or a merging of something. I cannot explain it, and it's very hard to verify, but it is part of law.
mm,
A lot of the law has this, right, where animals somehow manifest through humans, or humans somehow manifest through animals. A very easy example, right, to give to help everyone visualize is Toshio, the little boy in Ju-on,
Mm.
right? His cat was drowned by his father, but when he opens his mouth, he meows, right? And throughout the whole of Ju-on, this is something very, very obvious. And I wonder whether that's also part of old Japanese law. Very early Japanese law did have a lot of these animal human kind of hybrids, right? So I don't know whether, if it's happening, I don't know if it's conventional human death kind of situation where, yes, you expect the guy to be screaming and not the cow. On the other hand, the cow that killed him, maybe the soul got got mixed up with his. I don't know, right?
Actually,
I
John,
don't know.
you
Or
you you
maybe
you brought up a very good point, because what you
mm,
just said reminded me of my trip when I was in South Africa. So I went to
ah,
this secret breeding ground for rhinos. So they're trying to
nice. Okay.
reintroduce the rhino population back. And these guys are like rhino whisperers. Lah. They did this, and then
Mm,
they make some sound like what they was trying to do, right? And they
right.
could communicate, and the rhino stayed really calm. So maybe what you just
Mm,
brought up made sense,
mm,
that the
mm.
guy actually has the ability to talk to
That
this
also.
water buffalo. So
Mm,
maybe that's why, because he misses how he jaga this water buffalo. So maybe that's why it's a residual haunting, and you could
mm,
hear these sounds. Because the 15-year-old boy did say this, and it just popped in my head. He
mm.
said it sounded like it came from a human.
Yes.
So it's
Mm,
a human doing a buffalo call.
Yes.
maybe.
I
Yes.
I really like that. I think that again is a parahantu situation, right? It's a combination of what is extremely rational, right, in the middle of what is apparently a haunting. But
Yeah.
there's a logic to it. There's a beautiful logic to that.
I want to read out some
You know.
comments that the audience have been posting.
Mm.
And because the comments were really going up. So I want to catch that before it just disappears. I think some people have agreed with ET that it's it's the ghost making the sound of the buffalo as how he was doing it
Yeah.
when he
Mm.
was alive, like a residual haunting. There's also some that says, like Premier Mitsu says, the dead can imitate any sound, not just like he
Mm.
imitate just like he has imitated his mate's voice. So this is to
Mm.
in reply to ET saying, why did he go Why did he just make a different sound? Because ghosts can
Yeah.
imitate
Mm.
different sounds. Karina says maybe the old man is making the water buffalo noises to scare people away from where he
Mm.
got killed in case others fall to the same fate. Imagine
Oh.
Malayan say maybe it impaled his lungs so he don't have enough breath to scream but can only make that deep moaning sound.
Mm.
And Cara Wong says all your explanations make it so much sadder for the ghost. So
Mm.
I like to think in this case, the soul of that man who died there was stuck in its place either by choice, because he was a water buffalo herder and this is his land, his place. He
Mm.
he doesn't want to go, right? He's still doing his
Yeah.
job, and I think all signs points to this spirit either being residual or at least
Mm.
not malicious. And because
Mm.
a young boy, maybe 15, I know he's a bit past puberty, but he's still young enough to pick it up. Right. So
Mm.
again, the conversation where we talk about today is: did he know about it? Did he not know about it? That would make a difference because of power of suggestion. But
Mm.
I mean, okay. So obviously the answer is if he's being told about that, then we can attribute a lot of it to the power of suggestion. Assuming he's not told about it, I would think that he's at the age where he's coming of age, like the 15, 16. He's probably
Mm.
depressed, dark and brooding teenager, and he sort of vibrates in that sphere that allows him to experience the sound of the place.
No, but he's not the only one who experienced it. The mother experienced
Ah,
it in a totally different room of the house. She heard it in the kitchen. He heard it in his bedroom wall.
okay.
Right. So quite different. Quite different
I know
places.
some of them have
Yeah.
said it could be the old man snoring, but no, I think it's quite sure. If I'm the 15-year-old boy, I'm not dumb. If my grandpa is snoring, I will go there and hear, oh, that's the one. I'm not going to be scared.
Mm.
But
Mm.
he's scared enough to call his dad all the way in Singapore, who's working a night shift, to call for help.
Mm.
Yeah. So I don't think it's a snore.
Wow. Totally off topic, but I just want to share a very nice joke from Frankie that can be arranged. Right. This is a very nice joke. There is a quote by Confucius. He says, a man who goes through a turnstile sideways is going to Bangkok. Excellent. That is excellent. Thank you, Frankie.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah.
We
All
should
right.
start walking sideways when we enter any turnstile.
Yeah. Okay, I think we are at the middle part of the. We have 3 of 7 confessions. We got 4 more
Wow.
to go. It's 11:06
Sure.
now. Shall we? We always get a chance to talk to our guests and get a bit,
Chit chat.
know them better.
Yeah.
So John, I know ET since way back, and I know ET. The first day I met ET, we were both lying down on a grass patch, looking up at the stars.
Your head by my side of my head.
Yeah.
Wow.
And and ET was pointing out to me, that's Uranus, that's Jupiter.
Why must you choose Uranus first?
No lah, I mean star
It's
lah.
not your anus, no. Be careful how you pronounce that.
Okay, so John and I, Bula, ET and I, we were both from Serangoon JC, and he is the president of the
Wow.
astronomy club.
Vice
Ah,
president. I
president.
didn't. Vice
Yeah.
president.
Vice president.
After that,
Okay.
we kind of lost contact. Then I was a chicken shit back then, but this guy was already the president of Singapore Paranormal Investigators, and he invited me down. I was just writing an article, and he said, "Hey, Tay, you want to go investigation?" I said, "Nope, no, thank you. I was done with that." But we kept in touch. We being Pranakan boys and all that, and love our drinks. Even hosted MC for his wedding as his brother. So we went a long way,
Nice.
and just glad to have him back. But I know a lot of stuff to know about ET, but I don't think John, so I'm going to let you have the chance to ask questions, as well as the fans out there who meeting ET for the first time, who has not been here from 2019, and who's this guy with a CSI cap, chubby chicks. It's your time to ask. Okay, over to you, John.
Yeah. So please fire away if you have questions to ask our handsome guest tonight. All right. Thank you, Eugene, for pointing out chubby cheeks. All right. So I just want to know, right? So you've spent so many time, with SPI and and all that, right? How has your attitude towards things changed from before you really began taking this on and after? So
Okay,
like
so
days, all right.
yeah,
What
so
was your
all,
perspective then?
all this
Yeah.
while I've always been intrigued by the paranormal. I think even more motivated where the X Files season kind of started during my secondary school days. So in the past where we didn't really have internet, had to go to the library and borrow books reading about Loch Ness, reading about Bigfoot, reading about various theories. So I was very, very inspired about how the weird things happening in the world. Is it real? Can it be explained by science? So that was my primary motivation. And it was always my dream to actually start an X-Files department in Singapore. And I kind of
Nice.
met up a few crazy enough guys, and we kind of started SPI 20 over years ago. So how it's changed me is that I became a very scientific kind of person because there are many, many stories. My mom tells me tons of stories. I hear from my friends, I hear say, but it's always never straight from the horse's mouth. It's always my friend said this because he heard from his friend. So I really want to hear what it actually is. And every time when we go for investigation, I always want to see whether we can explain by science. So be it a photograph, be it ops, I always try to go in depth to see if we can explain by science. What I'm
Right.
glad is I managed to put many people at ease by telling them, hey, it's probably your imagination. But there are those instances that we just cannot explain. That things happen according to what all those... Okay, why I like to bring up the Angmo paranormal groups is because they are very flashy. It's all for filming and very theatrical.
Yeah.
It's not so much about science, because if you really, really do paranormal research, it is very boring. Trust me. Okay, it's very, very boring. You tell jokes and they got no more jokes to say. And then something pops up and then you don't know whether it's really something or it's, just one of your equipment malfunctioning. Investigating for over 20 years, I probably would have only 5 instances which I say is probably something I cannot explain.
Wow.
But that keeps me going, you see.
Right.
Because there are things in this world we cannot explain. So as much as how much the world and Tay wants me to say it is the hantu, I try my very best to withhold that because we all need an EMF to drink.
All right. Nice timing.
So yes, I love paranormal research. Now a bit older, as what you guys were asking me. This is past my bedtime nowadays, but I still have that passion because what is it? I mean, even when I did company trips to Scotland, I made like six of my
Mm.
friends follow me, although they dreaded it. We drove like 3 hours to Loch Ness, and then I went to this museum of Loch Ness, only to find out the entire museum was telling me that it's not really Loch Ness and it's probably something. Okay, basically it's just being ET now. It's just telling me, okay, it's probably science. It's
Yeah.
probably something floating in the water. And I drove like miles and miles just to find that out. So I understand how you guys feel. But that is
Oh,
the
what
reality
a-
of what we are with paranormal research. Yeah.
right. So do you think that would you consider yourself someone who your fascination has always been paranormal research,
Mm.
but what drives you is the search for that perfect encounter, that perfect story that cannot. Is that why you keep researching?
Yes, because to find out, can I explain it? If I
Mm.
can't explain, then what could it be? I mean, is it really science? Is it beyond science? I mean, I have this theory that entities and everything are that of negative energy, you know.
Mm.
So because as we know in physics, energy cannot be created or destroyed. So when we pass on, the
Yep.
energy cannot be destroyed and it passes on. Is that the definition of reincarnation? I really don't know. But I
Right.
believe that the energy form, moves from a place to place, be it a different astral plane or something like that. I really don't know, because if I knew and
Mm.
I wrote a book, I'll be a millionaire by now, I know. But obviously, I don't have that level yet. But I really do think to a certain level
Wow.
that entities are that of negative energy. So that is my theory. Yeah.
Okay, some
Mm.
questions from
That's
the public, from our audience. Sleepy Healer is asking any.
X. I'm a huge fan of X Files.
Yeah, John, I think you might be lagging. You seem to be stuttering, like as if you're scared.
I think the EMF very strong in
Yeah,
this area. Where do you stay, John? Do you stay near power lines?
John is situated on the ley lines. Okay, while he's sorting out his EMF issues,
Mm,
uh, ET Sleepy Healer
yes.
wants to know any experience that really spooked you out.
Okay. That time lah, but do I need to repeat the story? I don't know which episode, the one, the Red Hill incident.
Cliff notes lah. Just give a Cliff
So
notes
okay,
version.
so basically, I did an investigation at Red Hill. Discovery Travel Channel crew was there. Cut a long story short, but basically, my motion detector went off. Half of my gadgets went flat. Um, and then because being in Singapore, unlike ghost hunters in the US, they can barge in, right? This one cannot lah. So we went back, analyzed our data. Cut a long story short, actually, a child spirit was following me for 2 weeks. I had recurring nightmares. I was coughing blood. I shouldn't reveal too much because I think there's a story that is similar to this later on in one of the Bangkok stories, which I'll share a bit more. Um, yeah, and then eventually left me after 2 weeks. The best thing was my friend who saw it. She said there's this small boy following me. She's got the third eye, and she said usually when they follow you, right, they will never leave you. Wow.
Oh,
Then I kanchiong, yeah.
for sure, man. When things,
Yeah.
it's one thing when you get attachment, it's another thing that attachment cannot leave you. It's worse than a sticky psycho girlfriend.
Wow, that one I don't know.
Okay, second questions I have is from Mr. David.
Mm.
How much would you say that you have invested monetarily in paranormal research? And what is the most expensive piece of equipment you purchased? Was it worth it?
Bro, whoever you are, my wife is just, in the same room as me. Obviously, I cannot reveal how much I spent on paranormal equipment. But all I can say is it amortizes over time. So, you spend, you divide it over the years, it's pretty worth it. Most expensive equipment, honestly, the most expensive equipment is actually manpower. Really, it's not about equipment, because equipment is just dead. It's how you analyze the data, because there are very accurate equipments. We always have this discussion, K2 meter versus a tri-field meter, but you need to analyze the data and you need to have people who are able to analyze. Like, for example, the marble dropping incident,
Hmm.
we used to have this brilliant guy who actually used, we analyzed the sound waves and he could measure the sound waves and then we measure the amplitude.
Hmm.
And that's how we actually came to a conclusion that it's not like what HDB says. It was what expansion, contraction of metal beams in between the floors. We realized that it was the sound of water gushing down your sink, getting distorted through the walls, and the amplitude of the sound wave is exactly the same. So your ears pick up that sound wave, but your mind tries to pick up what sounds exactly like that sound wave, and which is why you actually hear marble dropping, and that's the reason why it is. So the most expensive equipment is actually people's effort in doing the
Mm.
investigation.
I remember last time we used to have night vision cameras, but they always don't
Yeah.
last very long. We use them for investigations. We put them on static, and for some
Mm.
reason, 2-3 sessions in, cameras just go faulty.
It's really depends where you made in also you know.
Most of them made in
Um
you know where what?
yeah. But the main thing is this: it's not so easy to capture. The best equipment you have is actually the human sense,
Mm, mm,
because we can actually feel and sense what's happening around us.
mm.
And if you can attune to it, switch off all your mobile phones and stuff like that, I think that's the best answer amongst all.
Okay. Oh, looks
Yeah.
like John is back.
Hello, hello.
Welcome back. Your
Hey, I
house too
was
much
just
EMF I think. Which area are you in? Which area do you stay in?
Kalang, Kalang.
Kalang Kalang got what I
Mm.
don't know, man.
Kalang go. No, I was
Mm.
just taking a trip to the black hole. So yeah. Hey, Smooth Operator is with us in the chat.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hello, Elvin.
I already noted $6.89.
Thank you. And
Thank you.
Ying Chong also $10.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
$10 with a question. Have a question for all the hosts.
Okay,
Mm.
shoot.
Has the knowledge of the supernatural strengthened your belief in religion? Since the idea
Ah,
of entities, spirits, and deities are very interconnected.
I like
Mm.
this question a lot.
Mm.
You guys go first.
Okay,
I like this
let
question a
me
lot. You guys
let
go
me go
first.
first. Let me go first because I was not a born Catholic. I
Mm.
was only baptized in 2003.
Oh,
Mm.
okay.
So, the priest actually met us up with asking us questions on like, hey, you got anything that you're worried about and stuff like that. So
Mm.
I actually say, hey, yeah, I actually do paranormal research. Does it affect my religion?
Mm.
So why I love this priest, because the first thing he said, hey, okay, well, you go cemetery, I also go cemetery every day. But what he said next was very important. He said, as long you don't dabble with demons and
Mm.
spirits and stuff like that, and it's purely for research,
Yep.
then by all means go ahead.
Mm.
I think that's very important because many a times religious leaders, sorry, with all due respects, they
Mm.
are so passionate about their religion, they tend to overlook the simplicity of it. It is all about your heart and soul
Mm.
and your belief in the religion. It's not about fixed rules.
Yep.
So this guy went beyond, like, because these things are not written in the Bible, right?
Mm.
So whatever he said, I think it inspired me to continue loving my religion
Mm.
and
Mm.
also continuing with my passion, which is about scientific research in the paranormal.
Mm.
So if you're asking me whether has it strengthened my faith, to an extent, yes, because I'm human. I go into the haunted house, I get scared as well. Okay, I'm not like some like I don't know what those Ghostbusters fellas. I'm not. I'm human, right? So I also have my religious faith. When I
Mm.
go in, it's purely for research, and I think when you have that in good faith, and you're not out there to just disturb someone, because tons of my relatives, not relatives, my colleagues worry that when I do such things, right, I bring it back to the office.
Mm.
I don't, because it's purely for research. I'm not there to disturb things, because everyone say, "Hey, why you want to disturb this?" I don't really want to disturb them. I want
Mm.
to find out and understand more. So
Mm.
that is my focus, and I think it does help both ways, lah.
Mm.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm. That's a very good position to have. For me, I mean, I was born Catholic, and then switched and became Protestant, and uh, a lot of things changed when I switched to my second church, right? And I realized that there's actually a lot of the supernatural in the Bible, and the more we sort of got into it, right, the more we started to be aware of the darkness around us. So my church actually did quite a bit of exorcism in its time, and although of course, not allowed to be present, right, because junior, right, but we always hear the testimonies, and we witness, minor miracles and all that. So, it was not a religion that denies the supernatural, but Christianity to me was a way to keep your focus, right, knowing that there's all these things out there, and it's slightly shadowy and it's hard to know what's going on. You need a light,
Mm. Okay.
but the light does not cancel the darkness, it just focuses you. It gives you a path forward, right? But the darkness is still there, and you must always be cautious. You must always be aware, and have empathy,
Mm.
right, for those who are dealing with darkness, because for me, it's always, whether it's light or dark, it's still about humanity,
Mm.
right? And what we believe in, whether it's official or unofficial, whether it's pagan or religious, it is to do with how you want to cope with the world, and what
Mm.
helps you to get through, right?
Mm. Mm.
So for that reason, I that's why I like supernatural confessions so much, right? It's because everything that's told to us, that's confessed to us, comes from a place of need, of necessity. It's all people who are trying to deal with something they went through, not people who are trying to give you a scare or spin a tale.
Mm.
But they're all sharing. I went through this. This is how I'm dealing with it. These are the parts I cannot deal with. Can you help me out? you know and so it's always a sort of a hand held out to
Yeah.
the community, right, saying, can you explain, can you. So yeah, I appreciate that. So yes, I do believe that religion can go hand in hand with the supernatural,
Mm.
and should go hand in hand, otherwise you can get lost.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah. Eugene.
I I I have had a bit of journey in religion
Mm,
from 2012 2014. I was researching up, desperate for help, and
mm,
when it comes to spiritual warfare, not
mm,
knowing anything beyond Bomo and black magic and what I read in True Singapore Ghost Story, the
mm,
closest thing to spiritual warfare is religion, right? You go to a
mm,
organized religion, there is pangkat, there's hierarchy, there's authority. You know you're not going to get fleas, not as if you
mm,
go to a con man, right, in a Chinese shop or whatever, right? So
mm,
religion was the first taste of spiritual warfare. And the more I involve myself and immerse myself in various religion,
mm,
understanding them,
mm,
learning about the doctrine, learning about its limitations, its vision and impression and perception of
mm,
the world, I then start to formulate my own understanding that actually most of the organized religions do kind of overlap. Some
mm,
have a specific doctrine, and I can understand why those doctrines are created because human needs a framework. And if you just go like the old esoteric Buddhism belief, and as long
mm,
as compassion and the nirvana is your main goal, you can do whatever you want. I think
mm,
a blanket statement like do whatever you want will not fly today. Already with template and religion, people do argue, even on the
yeah.
books and the page. So I begin to see the breaking down of the walls between religion, and I see everything as a spiritual movement. And in
Mm,
my limited understanding, of course, really don't mean to step on anyone's toes. This is my understanding. Is I tend to feel that religion serves a purpose by allowing you to pick a side, and that becomes a comfort point because when everything is
mm,
too broad based and there is no parameter, we
yeah.
as humans just cannot comprehend. And once we cannot comprehend, it's chaos. So religion
Mm,
has a purpose. But if you ask me how I see it, I begin to break down the walls of religion and I see spirituality. Religion to me is organized. Here's a template. But spiritual is the vibrations, the world beyond it, spirit, God, angels, whatever name you want to call it. It's a
mm,
much bigger world. And of course, I'm
mm,
still figuring it out. And I think science itself is trying to catch up. But it's so interesting because no one yet is the authority to say, I have now written a book and therefore I can declare this is the global
mm,
narrative. We can't. So in that gray area where everyone's narrative is just as valid is where we start to learn. The minute we start to shut down opinions, we go my way versus your way,
mm.
learning ends. The questions end. We've gone back. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Very good question, by the way.
Yeah, I do agree with what Eugene says.
Mm,
That whatever your religion is, or whatever your beliefs are, I think openness is very important. I
mm,
don't think religions are created to close doors,
mm,
but they are practiced to close doors
mm.
sometimes, right? Because that helps the religion to flourish, that maybe protects its members, But at the heart of every religion is a desire to understand, right? And to understand, you have to be curious, you have to be willing to learn. Otherwise, you cannot understand.
Yeah.
So what is a religion that reduces the world to just a few rules. That makes no sense.
Oh.
That's not the world. That's your own little bubble, right? That's a bubble, right?
Yeah.
But a religion that's curious, I think, is a religion that's alive,
My
you know,
goodness.
and that's important, right? Okay, Joel had a question which I want to answer. Quick one,
Okay.
quick one. So Joel just asked, what is a minor miracle? Because I mentioned minor miracle. And he says, aren't miracles just, are known for being exceptional, right? And I realized I say minor because there were quite a lot of miracles happening around my church. So the big ones I didn't get to witness lah. I didn't get to witness, but there were minor miracles, and the one I had in mind when I said that phrase actually is a very common one. You see it, every other Sunday. You will see. I don't know if you guys know it, but it's called being slain by the Spirit. Have you heard of it, Et and Eugene?
Yeah. The
Yeah,
not that
yeah.
quiet that you fall down on that one.
Or more than fall down. So my aunt, for example, who was one of the latest ones, the last ones in my family to come to church with us, right? She was quite resistant, and when she finally came to church, right, and she had been baptized by water as a Catholic, but when she came to the new church, she was baptized by the Spirit, right? And when so we prayed for her, and when the pastor touched her forehead gently, she flew at least 4 meters up the aisle,
Ooh.
flung backwards, and landed with no sound, right? And when we asked her later, she said she landed like she was landing on a soft bed. She didn't even feel the ground, and so these are to us minor miracles lah, because you ask the pastor is regular occurrence.
Can I make a comment if you guys don't
Yes,
mind?
please. Yeah.
With all due respects to all religions, actually there's been many research done on such slaying. There's been research actually done. I mean, I don't mean to disrespect any religion, but when it comes to miracle healing and stuff, right? There have also been research done. Again, so the younger folks may not know Backstreet Boys. Okay, so Backstreet Boys are like last time the BTS. Okay, somewhat like that. Okay, you all understand where I'm coming from. They actually done research, and actually there were females that all the guy needs to do, right? The one, okay, I don't know their names lah, but the Backstreet Boys, because these girls are like crazy fans, right? And they
Yep.
are so enthused with these guys coming. The Backstreet Boys guys just touch them on their hand, right? They go into immediate orgasm. Okay, I don't mean to be talking about anything sexual
Absolutely.
and anything like that.
Yeah.
But
I got to learn that.
so when you are so in and so believe when you believe so much in a certain thing, and that you treat the fella with so much reverence, right? That you are anticipating something, that sort of power and stuff like that. And then when you just get that touch, okay, which is why also I like to bring it in. Why an Ogawa chair versus an actual human Masu is different. It's because of the human touch. The human touch can deliver so much power that you guys don't really understand. Okay, if you guys actually have kids, people out there, do you know that this thing called skin on skin?
Yep.
Okay. You all know skin on skin. Okay, I don't know whether you guys do different skin on skin, but when a newborn,
www.skinonskin.com.
so when a newborn it's out, right, immediately you go onto the mummy's chest to do a skin on skin. What actually happens, if you guys don't know, is actually the heartbeats sync.
Oh.
And that is so human, which is why when you actually go for a massage with a real human and not a hantu or a Ogawa chair, right, it is different because you have this human life force that just transfers to a person to another, and that's why humans are so amazing.
No wonder you
Right.
always keep going back to massage parlor lah, ET, because you want to sink in with that, the massage.
He's searching.
What
he's
massage
searching.
parlor? I don't know. Oh, reflex, you mean? Bangkok. Oh yeah, we're talking about Bangkok,
We're
right?
talking about Bangkok, right? No.
Okay.
I mean, I agree. I don't. No offense taken, because I think that's exactly the point, right? I think that there is behind what we call miracles.
Mm-hmm.
There is a logic. There is a logic, right? And the fact that someone is, in such a sharpened and heightened state of belief, right, that is that manifests itself in such in that moment superhuman feat. Right? Normally, I touch you. No one's going flying, right? But in this particular moment,
Depends how you touch, bro.
That's true, But yeah, in that very moment, the energy between my auntie and what she was believing, and the pastor delivering the prayer. To me, that's a miracle.
No, I agree.
You know, that is a miracle because it didn't happen for me. It's not happening for anyone else. It happened for her and it changes her life. What else do you need a miracle to do?
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
Right?
Guys, we
Yeah.
probably have to move on to the next topic. But I want to get Navinet's question in. He raised
What did he
he
say?
very sad. Like, you never
Oh
tell.
no.
Wait, sabar. We're still going to it. Last question. It's for
Okay.
Navinet. After your X-Files and as well as your religious background, do you believe that there's a life after death or there's such a thing as reincarnation? This is for E.T.
Um, to a certain extent, like my theory on how entities are negative energy and energy cannot be created or destroyed, I think it gets recycled somehow. I wouldn't know if that's what is exactly called reincarnation or not, but I do believe that the energy lingers around. But whether it creates another life force being a human, I'm not sure
Or a
if that's
cockroach?
exactly what you mean. Yes,
Come
or
back as
cockroach,
come back as
which
insect or moth.
Nonya will just crush like a cockroach. So I really don't know, but I do believe that there's this energy form that kind of lingers around. But whether it becomes human or an insect, or whether it just forms part of this Earth's life force, I really don't know. But I do believe that when we die, we don't just die. Something happens after that. Is it reincarnation? I don't know. But I always tell my close friends, if I die before them, I'm very focused on coming back to tell them, and then they'll write a story and then they become a millionaire.
E.T.,
Because I want to know too.
if you die, I'm going to Ouija board you back, I'm going to make connection. I'm telling you this for a fact. Okay, your wake, your wife not around, everyone around. I go, okay, E.T., Poppy, give me phone number.
That's it. You're never getting away from Eugene.
Okay. Anyway, the next confession is called Must Be Going for a Costume Party. Confession by Lennon and narrated by one of the sexiest voice in Supernatural Confessions. I'm working in Bang Na, and to avoid the traffic jam on my way home, I would take a shortcut through a kampong. It was about 7 p.m., but in Thailand, by this time, the sky was already very dark. I was driving very slowly because the kampong route has narrow roads. Midway through my journey, I saw this lady from afar, wearing a Thai period costume. The type with the baggy shorts to the knee, those pointed headpieces. Imagine those dancers at the Irawan shrine. I was like, what the fuck? Still got people dressed like that? Costume party, is it? As my car passed the lady, I looked at her face, and to my horror, her face white. Not pale, white. Eyes all black, no whites in the eye. Mouth was bloody red and big, like a Joker character in Batman. I continued to drive, took a glance at my mirror after I passed, and was surprised to see her reflection in the mirror. I thought ghosts got no reflection, ma. Anyway, I bought a rosary and hung it in my car. I still use this route till today, but I didn't encounter that thing anymore since. Okay, short confession, this one. What do you guys think? Okay, just want to show you what's a picture. He said there's this...
Where's this picture from?
Okay, so this is the Erwan dancing
Erwan
shrine, right? So he mentioned a Thai period costume with baggy shorts to the knee and pointed headpieces. This is what he's talking about.
Those of you who watch Thai horror films, you will also find this quite familiar, right? It's quite a popular traditional folk ghost that appears in quite a lot of Thai films, and it's quite spooky actually. Her name, this ghost is called Pinang Lom, which is the ghost of a traditional dancer, right? So is that what he saw? What do you think, E.T.?
Okay, the first thing that came to my mind is it really a ghost? I mean, the first thing that made me think it was not a ghost is that he saw a reflection. So, could it actually be someone? And then he saw like blood on the mouth and stuff like that. Could it be someone that actually just got into an accident on? That maybe coming back after a performance, and then someone knocked that fella down.
Oh.
And then he obviously is pale because he's losing blood. And then this person had a reflection. So why didn't he stop and check whether the fellow was okay lah?
Maybe the girl was calling out.
Yeah, then he like, hantu, okay, just drive off.
Oh no.
I mean, I don't know. That was my first thought. Yeah.
I didn't think of that at all, bro.
Yeah,
I think if anyone got into an accident and bloody, I think it's hantu.
Well, it was 7 p.m. The sky was already dark. So,
But you see, how can he drive so fast away? It's Bangkok lah.
No, cause kampong,
No,
kampong.
kampong.
Oh, kampong.
Rural,
Ah,
rural back
okay,
roads.
okay.
Ah.
But the
Correct,
first thing I would
yeah.
think is, maybe it was really a human, because generally, if it's a sort of hantu, yes, I really do believe there's no reflection.
Okay, to be frank, for me, it's very. I mean, it's very hard for me to imagine it being a hantu, because if you are in a kampong neighborhood, right, then there are shrines everywhere, right, and all the shrines have traditional rituals and ceremonies which involve the whole community. And like when I was in Bali, for example, every time I look out and I was staying at my friend's house, I look out the window, I always see people in traditional costume walking up and down because they're going to rehearsal, coming back from rehearsal all the time. The whole village is dressed up because everyone is dancing or they're taking classes, or so to me it's not so surprising. Maybe to a urban dweller,
Mm.
it might be surprising, but actually no, she's probably one of a troop of people. I cannot explain why her makeup's so bad or so extreme, or maybe as ET pointed out, she just had an accident.
Okay.
But her presence there in that costume is hardly unusual if you're living in a community that yeah.
So
Come,
again,
Eugene.
it's
He's a jinn. He's a jinn.
No lah, it's a Thai story lah. Thai story.
Okay.
Hang Jay wants to know how do you spell that character that you mentioned?
Pinanglum. P Nanglum. Nanglum.
Okay, Pinanglum. Hopefully, Hang Jay, that
Pinanglum.
answers your question.
I'll type it up.
Okay, one more thing. This was a confession that came to me from this guy called Jones Liu. And in his confession, face-to-face confession, he said that he saw a spirit on the way to Malaysia in the reflection. He turned, it's not there. He turned back to reflection, it's there. And the spirit knows he's looking at him and he waves. So to say that spirit don't appear in reflection may not be right, because Karina also backed this up in the comment section. She says, I either see the hantu only in reflection or real life without reflection. Never both. Same with Jones. So in this case, he's real life and reflection lah. So this goes against the trend lah.
Yeah, so it's an injured fella, like it's an injured fella that was crossing the road.
Yeah. I included this in because I thought it was a very freaky story. Again, there have been many videos, and I've been driving in Malaysia as well. So I love to take the back roads. It is very easy to get yourself spooked because it's totally dark. And the people who are in the village, they walk in pure darkness, guys. They don't need torchlight, they know the place. But when you're driving and suddenly your headlight just flash across and you see someone, old woman, hunchback with a walking stick, it's a nenek kabayan. And I freaked myself out a couple of times. And as I drive past, I see her, I see reflection, and in some sense, I'm very much like Lennon. I see the person, I see reflection, I go, okay, got reflection, got actual physical body, not the hantu. But it can get freaky, especially in these rural roads.
There are people commenting that there are several hantus that they come across which have appeared in mirrors. Imagine Malayan has one at work that appears in reflection. And actually, there were several confessions we've shared, right, where spirits were seen in the reflection of the computer screen, etc., etc., etc. So I don't know if it's maybe it's not a blanket rule. Maybe there are certain varieties of hantu that appear and certain ones who don't. We don't know yet, right? Now, this is something we can spend a lifetime trying to figure out. Okay, like what
Actually,
are the classifications?
I'm just curious. The past few confessions, right? No one actually went to find out exactly what is happening.
No.
What is happening?
They didn't open the door. They didn't check whether the fella is a real hunter. Like, didn't slow down and stop and see.
Yeah.
So I mean, sorry. I mean, I don't mean to ask everyone to be crazy, but generally, if you come across something paranormal, I think it's good to actually verify what it is.
You know why they don't do that? E.T.?
Why?
Because they are not paranormal investigators.
Oh, they are paria normal.
They are just
They're just normal investigators. Got la. The first confession la. She checked the door. She checked the door to make sure that it was not. I think it depends on the level of.
She didn't check the door. She didn't physically touch it. She didn't check the atmospheric pressure, whether there was a change in pressure.
She had no equipment with her, unfortunately.
Sorry, fussy fella lah. Sorry, a bit OCD.
She was able to check that it was heavy. right?
mm.
She was able to verify that. So she clearly did
No, wait.
things.
She said it looks heavy. I think she
No.
didn't push it. She pushed
Oh,
it physically. I think she said it looks heavy.
it's okay. I will verify. Come, I check.
Oh,
Sorry,
How
I
on earth did
fussy
she?
boleh.
Yeah, how did she check a door without touching it? It would
which
be
one?
weird.
Agak-agak.
Which
There's
one?
this peranakan thing called agak-agak. Because that's how I asked my mom, how heavy is how many shallots you put? It's agak-agak.
Agak-agak.
Okay, she made a dash towards the swing doors to check things out.
Yeah, she did.
There were no controls. It was an automatic door. They were
She
sturdy
didn't push
frame.
it.
I think when she says check things
Got
out,
lah. Okay
she
lah,
didn't
okay
mean
lah.
that she stared at the door lah.
Yeah,
Okay,
lah.
okay,
She probably
okay.
touched it.
Okay lah, sorry,
Yeah.
I'm a bit
Yeah.
too fierce.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, let's not dwell on this confession too long. We got 3 more to go. 3 more.
All
And
right.
it's just getting better and better from here, scarier. So far, we have always been on the fence, but the next few confessions is going to challenge your belief. But before that, I just want to give a quick shout out. This is like an advertisement moment, okay?
Advertisement come.
Cleansing of Pancha Kosha. Pancha Kosha is the 5 bodies in the Hindu belief. It's like your yoga, your. I think those of you who are practicing yoga or meditation and chakra, you understand. So, there's one confession that Murali was involved, and many of you have asked me, "Hey, is Murali coming back? Can I get a cleansing session from him? I want to meet up with him." He's going to be leaving Singapore on the 16th or 17th. So 15th April, he's running a just for the SC community, just for you guys. Because I said many of you want to meet him. Can he organize something? He says yes. I can do a cleansing of the Pancha Kosha, herbal flower bath to cleanse the aura field, realign chakra, and to remove negative attachments. Who is this for? It's suitable for those who have restless sleep, bad luck, or experiencing a series of arguments at work or in relationship. So, this is something I'm just organizing. I'm going to go for it myself. If any of you are interested, just contact me. We'll just do a group booking. We'll split the cost, whatever. And we meet him on the 15th of April in the morning, and then we go makan lunch together. How about that? Okay, so call me if you want to go for a cleansing, especially if you got restless sleep, bad luck, or experiencing arguments at work or in relationships. Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Sorry, I can read out one comment by
Oh.
Smooth. So, frankly, as paranormal researchers, do you think that over the couple of years there's so much increase in paranormal anomalies that, I mean, could it be due to handphone abilities or something
Something
is amiss? Yeah, so okay, handphone, I really don't know, but that actually makes your K2 meter go off. But it also, to a certain extent, EMF is created by handphone. Okay.
EMF.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't realize that.
I was waiting for him. I knew where it was coming from already.
No, I really didn't mean that. But generally, the theory of okay, you all don't have to drink, but I need to say it. But generally, the theory of EMF is either entities actually produce EMF or they're attracted by EMF. So whether handphones causes paranormal activity, no, high levels of EMF actually makes your mind perceive things which are not there. Okay, I verified this on a diving trip with actually a neurosurgeon, that very high levels of EMF makes your mind actually see sparks or blinks and light and stuff like that. So it actually makes you see things which are not there. But to actually verify whether it's that by science or whether it causes paranormal activity, I really don't know. So I can't really answer your question.
Yeah. Interesting. I always think that, you always feel that there's more stuff happening, there's more, it's starting to trend, right? But that's only because we are now more connected and the
Yes.
stories are much more accessible, right? In my grandma's day, for example, I'm sure there were just as many anomalies happening, but she can only hear the ones that are nearby lah. She's not going to hear about anomalies elsewhere,
No
right?
internet, ma.
Yeah, but here we are talking about anomalies in Bangkok, I think, yeah.
So it sounds a
also that-
lot more because we have access to all this information.
Correct, but yeah, whether or not there's actually something amiss, wow, that's interesting to find out.
Wow, this one's interesting. Quick one, Eugene Toh. This is tinfoil hat category. Desmond is asking, does wearing an aluminum foil cap fend off EMF?
Bro, you're trying to cook what? Some ota or something like that? I don't know, but I have not tried it. Maybe we can conduct an experiment. I don't know how, but
You wear a tinfoil hat and see whether I cannot see ghosts leh. No, I can see. Cannot see.
honestly, I don't think so because EMF is at such a high level, right? I don't think aluminum foil can reflect anything because
man.
your skin is still porous and stuff like that. Unless you wrap your whole self in it, that one I really don't know, but I don't think so.
Okay lah.
Okay.
ET.
You make me want to say EMF.
I gotta go take another bottle. When you do your next confession, I'll go grab another bottle.
Also, it's my turn, is it?
Real kids or ghost
Yes.
kids, they are
Right.
all just
Okay.
as annoying, and you can tell who came up with this title lah.
Okay.
Take it away.
I want to share an experience that I encountered during my younger days, which I was lucky to be unharmed. This happened around 2001 on my very first trip to Bangkok. We checked into the hotel in the afternoon. Sorry, sorry, I have to laugh because it says Bangkok F and then asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. So Bangkok F Hotel. Have no idea what it means, but it's very interesting. My room was located on one of the higher floors for 3 persons, which was like a penthouse or some premium room. The room was right at the corner near the staircase, and I can't near the staircase again, and I can't remember if we knocked the room door politely to inform them, the spirits, that we are staying for a few nights. The floor we were on was mostly empty, with many rooms unoccupied, and the whole place was eerily quiet. While unpacking our luggage, I heard noises outside a room which seemed like kids playing, laughing, opening and closing the doors repeatedly, which annoyed the hell out of me. I was cursing and swearing under my breath, and I opened the door ready to give the kids a good scolding, but there's no one outside. The whole level was empty and quiet just as before. I went back to unpacking, and the noises started again. I rushed to the door to check, but still outside was quiet. Shortly after that, we headed out of the hotel. Nothing much happened throughout, but one of my friends was having a fever throughout the next few days and had to self medicate. He did mention that he didn't sleep well throughout and felt weird, which I believe is related to those things. The reason I was spared probably is I was more hot tempered or more. Okay, this one, Teh Sabo. He put some Chinese word. Sha Qi. Sabo sia you. Later on, I checked on the internet and realized that this hotel was haunted with quite a number of supernatural news and stories. Some years back in the 80s, there was a fire incident and caused some death. I gave my friend a good scolding for not checking and getting us such a dirty hotel. However, I'm lucky to be unharmed throughout. Hmm.
Yeah, okay, come, Eugene,
Okay.
take us.
Me I went to take drinks now. Then you asked me to come this one first.
Yeah lah. You said the upcoming stories are
Okay.
harder for us, right? So you come prove
Fine,
it,
never mind.
prove it, prove it.
Okay. So for let me take a quick glance at this one. Okay, children. Okay, corner room, children playing, right?
Yeah.
And then
Corner room near staircase.
so my own experience, corner room near staircase seems to always be the place, not just one hotel, but many hotels, as having a lot of funny sounds. Now, the rational mind tells me it's sound that travels from other place. But in this case, he hears a sound, enough for him to get annoyed. You open the door, there's no sound. If this was a case where noise travels from other room, the open door, closed door, it should not make a difference. So it's almost as if there are children spirits around in this hotel and they're just having fun. And of course, he was living in a hotel on the floor where it's relatively empty. So the spirits are, if you have been for my Supernatural Confessions Walk with Hantu tour in Changi, you hear some of the confession stories that we talk about with Raintree Hotel. When it's empty, the spirits actually do take residence there. And in fact, special rituals have been put in place to move the spirits from disturbing people onto a different place. And it is true to me, I believe that not everyone can see spirits. And some people have the Sa Chi, very strong young energy. Especially the hot temper, the alpha males, the very gung ho people, the one who wants to say, "Hey, I never see ghosts. Show me ghosts. Where's the ghost? I go cemetery. No ghosts." These are the people that cannot see ghosts. The ones that can see ghosts are the, "I don't see ghosts. I'm really scared of ghosts. Or ghosts." Ghosts will come to you. So I think in this particular story, because it's not just isolated to this incident, but what I felt was interesting was this confession talks about a repeated experience that is so common in many different hotels. It doesn't just have to be in Bangkok. it seems to be an unnatural phenomena where there are children spirit running around. And when I
Mm,
was in Indonesia, and I asked, why are there why are there child spirit running around a hotel?
Mm.
That's my question.
Right.
And the was that Indonesia or Thailand? Okay,
mm,
either one, Indonesia or Thailand, right? And I was told this. I'm just relating to
Mm.
you guys.
Mm.
Every hotel or every establishment, even in
Yep.
Singapore, if you notice, there will be
mm,
a shrine somewhere. Most times
Mm-hmm.
in Singapore is the basement car park.
Yep.
Maintenance room,
mhm,
basement car park, there's always a shrine outside.
mm,
Hotels always have a shrine. I was in Shangri-La and I looked down the window, huge shrine. Okay.
mm,
So it's not open to public because it's always in the back room, but there's always a
mm,
shrine. One of the things that owners do, especially Chinese owners, Buddhist maybe, or maybe even Thai Buddhism,
Mm.
uh, and I think in some parts, Indonesia, more of the Hindu side, they believe in giving merits back
mm,
to the spirit.
Right.
So, like 7 months and all that, what is it actually? It's giving offerings to the spirit. When you pai to the Chinese temple, there's also one part where it's for the children's spirit, is to give
mm,
merits to the spirit because these are innocent souls that sometimes don't even know they're dead.
Mm.
But when you bring them into your hotel, you allow them to not be wandering, and you're feeding them, you're giving offering, and you devoting merits to them, it brings good fortune to the establishment. And for the spirits, they get to cross over and reincarnate. It's like a win-win situation.
Mm.
So I believe in this particular story, when he heard the children playing, it could be just non-malicious spirit running around an empty space. And like
mm.
typical of children, because spirit children sometimes don't even know they're dead. Adult open the door, they keep quiet. They well behave. Adult close the door, they continue playing. Right? And especially this guy is so hot tempered with Sachi. It's like he walks out, he's the discipline master coming down to the schoolyard. So to me, this is how I am analyzing this confession, and that's my takeaway. Over to you
Mm.
guys.
I agree. I agree entirely. I think I do believe that in the spirit world, the population of child spirits is probably one of the highest. You know, because there's so much more reason for them, right, to linger. You know, because they're not aware of what they're supposed to do. Right. And also, you know, children are stubborn. Huh? You know, I was alive. Now you tell me I'm dead. Don't want. You know, I enjoy being alive. You know, and then there you go, right? So there's no reasoning with them. You know, I like the idea that there's a way to make peace with them, to sort of take care of them, right? You know, and then slowly, ease their way, into the other world. Uh, I do think though that they were not there by accident. I think they are there on that floor outside the door because they are being a little bit
Curious.
the
Inquisitive?
play. So many other floors they can play on. They're purposely playing outside this door,
Hmm.
right? And they purposely come out. We keep quiet,
Yeah.
shh,
Mi-
and then close the door. Ha
Mischievous
ha
lah,
ha ha.
mischievous. Yeah.
Yes, because that's what kids are, right? Yeah, they're playing around
Mm,
you,
mm,
right? I don't think malicious, but definitely
mm.
teasing. Because it can be pretty boring to be a ghost, lah. Huh? So
Yeah.
if I was a ghost, I'll be pulling everybody's leg
Yeah.
because walao, what else
Yeah.
can I do, man? Yeah. Et, what do you think?
Yeah, the first thing that came to my mind was I think there was no mention of what time it was that he was unpacking his bag.
Hmm.
Because if we could ascertain exactly what time it was, then we can see.
Afternoon. Checked
Okay,
in the afternoon.
so exactly. So afternoon, there's very high chance that there'll be kids. And although it sounds like it's coming from the corridor, I'm sure everyone has stayed in hotels before. Um, the sound and because they need to cut costs and stuff like it's not like solid walls in between. The sound actually travels through walls. In fact, sound travels very well through solids. So actually, you can have kids running around maybe in a room like couple of doors down. And it sounds like it's coming from the corridor. So you know, especially if it says in the afternoon, that there's very high chance that it's probably just not something that's paranormal, but something that's just coming from the a door like few doors down. Even if you stay in HDB, you realize that when you hear renovation sound, it sounds like coming directly above you, but actually it's
Mm,
from a unit somewhere else. It's because of how the sound travels through solids, right? Giving you the impression that it's actually coming from a certain location, but actually it's somewhere else. So my take is it's probably just a normal sound, especially if you say it's in the afternoon. My kids go crazy in the afternoon, and they do run around. I have never come across a kid that doesn't run around, because then that will be paranormal. So with kids running around and chasing each other around, I think it's very possible that it's just coming from another room.
But if you are going with sound coming from another room,
Mm.
then in that case, I would say that you would at least see the children on that same floor, or you open
No,
the
but
door.
it's
You could
inside the
hear.
room,
No,
inside the room, they
but
don't run the corridor.
correct. So that's why my question is:
Mm.
cannot be you open, it's quiet, you close, the sound come back.
That's true, lah. Okay, that one is
Ah.
true, lah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That
did
one
it
is
did it
true.
really go silent when he opened the door, or did it just become less clear? And to him, it sounded like it changed.
Yeah,
Okay,
Like if you step,
I'm going to read out the line again. While
yeah.
unpacking our luggage, I heard noises outside our room, which seems like kids playing, laughing, opening and closing the doors repeatedly. I understand. Which annoyed the hell out of me. Totally understand. I was cursing and swearing under my breath. 100% understand. And I opened the door ready to give the kids a good scolding. But there was no one outside and the whole level was empty and quiet, just as before. I went back to unpacking and the noise started again. Unless it's so chiao, I opened the door, then make it quiet.
Imagine, Ate, you and I as kids. Then this uncle opened the door, few doors down, you kite lah, you quiet, because you know
That's
the flash
true.
no marquee you
Sure.
are.
Yeah, correct.
So
correct.
that's a possibility. I mean, I'm just being extreme lah, but
Yeah.
there is a possibility, because I imagine myself, I would do
Yeah.
that.
No, but the reason you're invited here because we want to see the alternative point of view, right? Like,
Yeah, but I don't want to sound too extreme.
So what I wish that this guy did,
Mm.
right? This person named Anon, right? I wish what he did was he was not alone, right? Was there
No,
anyone in the room with him, or he was alone? Okay, otherwise cannot.
his friends
Cannot do
book lah.
experiment.
Different room.
But you know what I would do, right?
No,
I would close the door and sound
Ah.
like as if I was in the room, and I'll just sit outside and stare, see where these kids are coming from.
Oh no, I would just make my friend do
Ah.
experiment with me. I go inside and listen. You run and
That's
run
true
up and
also.
down the corridor,
Exactly.
and let's see if it's the same sound, right? Just to verify whether the sound was coming from another room or from the corridor. I mean, that's not a hard thing to do.
I
Right?
will have a very different time with you guys. I will just go and buy candies downstairs. I put it in a bowl
Straight away.
outside. I offer this to the spirit of the children. Nah, holler, don't disturb me.
And then meanwhile, the neighbor kids will still carry on playing.
Mm.
Then they
So
will
you
come
don't-
in and they
you-
will take my sweets. Then I come in the morning, I see sweets are missing.
Wow,
Confirm
that's
got
it.
ghosts.
That's why you must
Then
to confirm, right? Use candles. Candles. See whether they eat the candles or not.
Okay, Ken, next one. Any last words from you guys about this confession?
No,
Eh?
actually.
Oh no! Wait, what's happened?
Why? What happened to you?
I think he went to see whether
What's
there were kids
happened?
outside his door.
You
Hey, what happened to John? Adoy. He froze
Ah.
again.
Pantang, say something wrong.
did I freeze or did you go?
No, you froze and you are hanging now.
Really? Oh no! Am I
Okay.
hanging? Am I
They
hanging?
don't say he's hanging.
Am I
lah.
hanging?
Yeah, lah, I know.
Oh,
No one's as well hung as me. Okay. Okay,
Am I
come.
alright?
Your turn.
Am I all right?
The ghost who likes
must
to
be the
keep
children.
clean.
Must
This
be
goes
the
with
children.
OCD lah.
Okay.
Are you ready, John?
Okay. Am I? Is my volume okay? I don't know. Am I still hanging or not?
No, you're fine now.
I need feedback. Okay.
Okay, you want feedback,
Alright.
John?
I can't. That's a very lame joke.
Hey.
I don't know who came up with that.
Okay, ghost who likes to
Okay.
keep clean. Take it away, John.
My boyfriend and I recently went for a 3-day, 2-night trip to Bangkok. We stayed at a nice 5-star hotel at a very famous location connected to a huge conference place. Oh, wait, oh no, have I disappeared?
Hey, John, we can still hear you. John? John! John's gone. Okay, I'll do mine first, E.T., you ready?
Try read it.
The one that, you want to read it or I read it? You read it lah.
The ghost who likes to keep clean.
No lah. There's one more. The last one.
You read the last one, but I can read his lah if you want.
Okay lah. You want to read his?
Okay.
Hold on. Set that up for you. The ghost who likes to keep clean.
My boyfriend and I recently went for a 3 day, 2 night trip to Bangkok. We stayed at in a nice five-star hotel at a very famous location connected to a huge conference place. We arrived about 9 p.m. and after a quick dinner, we went back to hotel, showered, and passed out before midnight. I'm a light sleeper, especially if I'm sleeping at a new or foreign place. I guess I just can't get used to the environment. So I ended up tossing and turning a lot. My boyfriend was nicely snoring away. Then at about 3:28 a.m., I heard the shower running and there was a strong smell of lavender scented shower gel. I'm sure of the exact timing because I wear an Apple Watch to sleep every night and I wake up instinctively to look at it and to see how much time I have left to sleep before the alarm goes off. I was wide awake at this point, but did not get back to check. Did not get up to check, sorry. I didn't wake my boyfriend up knowing he must be very tired from driving 5 hours before this. 10 minutes later, the shower turned off by itself and eventually I drifted off to sleep. Next morning, I told my boyfriend what I experienced and he brushed it off, saying it was probably the sound of someone showering in the next hotel room. I thought about it and decided it was best to just go with the explanation. He also told me to wake him up if it happens again tonight. That night, we slept a bit later at around 1 a.m. I was dead tired from the lack of sleep the night before, so I had no problem dozing off. My boyfriend too. Then, exactly at 3:28 a.m., it happened again. The sound of the shower running accompanied by the smell of the shower gel. This time, I woke my boyfriend up and he heard it too. And he told me to just ignore it and go back to sleep. Fine. It took me a while to get back to sleep though, and my boyfriend was already snoring. All of a sudden, my boyfriend started grunting and gesturing like he's trying to push someone or something off him. I sat up, turned on the bedside lamp, and shook him to wake him up. In a few seconds, he woke up and he sprang right out of bed. His face was so pucat. Pucat in Malay just means white as sheet. Then, after he calmed down, he sat down on the bed and told me that he suddenly felt a cold pair of hands strangling him, trying to choke him. And right at the moment as he said that, we could smell that same smell of that lavender shower gel filling the entire room. Walao eh. We turned on all the lights in the room, including the bathroom, and he stayed up all night while I slept. I woke up at 7 a.m. and then he went to sleep till it was time to check up. We skipped breakfast at morning, which was a waste because the spread was really good. Wasted lah. To be honest, we travel quite a bit, like 5 to 6 times a year for vacations or for work. We have stayed in various hotels, and this is the first time we ever experienced anything supernatural and so aggressive some more. Don't know what to make of this, but we hope we won't kena this again the next time. Damn scary.
Welcome back, John, and thank you, ET.
Wow.
Wow, this one, I think this one is a bit harder to debunk. Harder.
I have questions. What's the
Mm.
difference between a smell of lavender and a smell of lavender scented shower gel?
That was exactly my point I was writing in my CSI.
Yeah,
There's actually no difference.
right. Is it because it's the shower sound, therefore you associate the smell with something in the bathroom? Or couldn't it just have been shower and Miss P?
Lavenders. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah,
maybe,
the
maybe.
actual flower. Or could it be that we've never smelled real lavender? We
Mm.
only know lavender shower gel.
Actually,
Quite
it smells
frankly,
the same lah. Because I used
I've
to grow lavenders.
so it does smell the same,
It
huh?
smells the same.
Mm.
Actually, I wouldn't even recognize lavender if I smelt it, but I would
Mm.
probably guess it if I smelled shower gel. So I don't know. That's curious. I mean, here we have two witnesses, right? We have two
Mm.
witnesses. I sense that the boyfriend was actually quite spooked also because he didn't even want to go and check.
Yep.
So easy to just go and peek in the bathroom, right? If you are
Mm.
so sure there is nothing. So I think the boyfriend also like,
Sure, yeah.
let's go to bed. And in fact, the boyfriend might have been more scared than her because he ended up being the one that kena the sleep paralysis,
Mm.
right? So in his consciousness, I think this thing was much more prominent than in hers. She was just sleepy, So I don't know. Would you connect the sleep paralysis with the shower situation?
to
Are they
me,
connected?
I feel that there is a very high chance that there is something in that 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 room.
Mm-hmm.
Why I say that is I have been on the receiving end
Mm-hmm.
of shower that went on by itself
Mm-hmm.
and turned off by itself, and this
Okay.
this happened at Spottiswoode Park. The building is no longer there; it's torn down. I
Mm.
was in the shower taking a piss, and
Mm.
I mean, I was in the toilet taking a
Yeah.
piss, and the shower turned on by itself. And so I
Wow.
looked, right? And again, as much as I go, it must be the hantu. When it happened to me, the rational side will always kick in because I don't want to scare myself.
Yeah.
And so I told myself in my mind, not even out loud, if I say,
Mm.
don't disturb me, and
Mm.
the thing turned off by itself,
Mm.
it's harder to explain away, lah. Right? And in my mind, intent, right? We talk about all this intent. I said, please don't disturb me. I'm just here as a guest. I'm going to go off in the morning. Shower turn off. Indonesia, it happened. Shower turn on, shower turn off. Palace of the Golden Horse Hotel, when the room is known to be haunted, shower turn on, shower turn off. And I'm not even talking about off on like a faulty faucet. It's on command. And if you remember my story about how I was in Malay in the resort where the water turned off by itself, and it was not like a faulty faucet again because it's a faucet that requires you to hold it and move it
Right.
180 degrees to turn off and turn on as a right. So to me, if anyone tells me their hotel toilet, the shower can turn on and off by itself, I have no reason, based on my personal experience, to doubt that, because it has happened to me not once but on multiple occasions. Right. So my immediate go-to when I hear a thing like something like this, a story like this, is you are in that room with something. Now, and I think I agree with the rest of my hosts. Whether it's lavender scented soap, lavender cut. I as a man, I probably will never tell. I can go into Bath and Body Works, I cannot tell the difference. Okay, so I'm taking it as at face value. But because there's a shower and there's lavender smell, I can understand there is a correlation. But perhaps this lady can really differentiate between a soap and not lah. I mean, I don't know lah, right? But there's definitely a smell that comes with it. And what
Fresh lavender versus essence of lavender.
and okay, so to make this story a lot more credible and a lot more freaky is when the boyfriend was relating his dream,
Yeah, the smell came back.
smell came back. Oh my god. This is
Why? Why? What's happening?
on my screen. I see that the Thai dancer image just came back. You see it?
Oh,
I did
Pinang
not put it up.
Lom is back.
Hell, I'm gonna delete it.
Got lavender smell. No? Or frangipani.
It's flower gel, frangipani flower gel. Okay, someone in the group has already solved it. C. Joe has solved your problem, Eugene. The ghost is always making Eugene take shower because you always smelly.
Hey, I shower a lot one, not chow chow one.
So every room you go into, the ghost is like, "Excuse me, shower please, shower please." They're hinting at you. Okay. I'm very interested in why showers. Okay, so okay, you know me and yin and yang, right? And my fascination with that, you know. And wouldn't it be very interesting if the ghost is so sensitive, you know, that you come in, right, and because you're human, right, so the yang energy went up, right, by a few degrees. Then the ghost is like, I need to balance. I need more yin. Come, running water. You know, and the ghost is just trying to counteract your sha qi. You know,
I
with a
too
bit of
man
sha.
already lah. That's why.
Maybe that's why. Can I just point out also that in the previous confession, your Han Yu Pinyin leaves something to be desired, because although E.T. was smart enough to guess that it's Sha Qi, but you wrote Sha Ji, which is kill chicken.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I say sabo. Yeah.
Sabo. Okay, so yeah, not the same, not the same. Okay.
How do you spell the Han Yu Ping for Sachi?
QI.
QI. But
Yes.
you spell JI.
For the same reason that Marvel got it wrong,
Sachi.
right? It's Shang-Chi, right?
Okay,
You know,
yeah.
Shang-Chi. Okay, yes, but yes, Lavender Station, Miss P points out. Okay, E.T., what do you think? Was it a
Okay,
shower problem? Was it a neighbor showering at 3:28 a.m.?
the first thing that came to my mind is a very OCD ghost. Because it haunts at fixed timing one.
Yeah.
3:28 a.m. No. Zun zun
Mm.
no. But on a serious note, this sounds a lot like a residual haunting.
Yep.
Okay, hold your horses. I only say residual. Sounds like a residual haunting. I never say it is a residual haunting.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so what that happens is basically is when an entity is trapped in that time and space, and it repeats the haunting, because it doesn't know when it's dead, and it repeats at a certain time in a certain manner.
Mm.
Now, why did a poltergeist? The first thing that I asked is, why did this poltergeist activity affect only her boyfriend and not her?
Mm.
Could he have resembled a person that committed a crime to the spirit? Usually, such incidents would leave some marks. So I'm curious to know that if he was so-called strangled, right, was
Mm.
there actually some bruises that was on his neck?
Mm.
Because he could say that he felt suffocated, but
Mm.
were there really handprints?
Right.
That's the first thing I will ask. Then again, someone who is snoring would be in their deepest phase of sleep, usually in the
Yep.
what they call delta wave. So it's
Mm.
also the time where dreams are experienced. I would
Mm.
not be surprised if actually the boyfriend was actually experiencing a very vivid dream.
Mm.
Mm.
Okay, and to be honest, I mean, with all due respect, because I have sleep apnea, if he can fall asleep so fast and he snores, chances are he has sleep apnea. So
Mm.
whenever she wakes him up, I say, hey, there's something. He just say, go fall asleep, because he's actually in deep sleep.
Yep.
He can talk about it, but actually he's sleeping. Um,
Mm.
I feel it's very possible to actually hear shower through your hotel room,
Mm.
Mhm.
because actually what happens is sound, like I said earlier, sound travels really well and weirdly through solids.
Mm.
For those who live in HDB, you will know, like I said, about the Reno thing. But the next thing is, hotel rooms are generally in a certain structure where a room next to another room, right? The toilets are side by side,
Mm.
meaning that each room, the room side by side is
Mm.
laterally inverted.
Mm.
So, and hotel rooms tend to have very thin walls generally lah.
Mm.
So I'm really not surprised if the sound can actually be from the next room. Next, with regards to the sanitizer, sorry, it's not sanitizer, but for
Shower
Buff,
gel.
yeah.
the
Shower
lavender
gel.
smell.
Mm.
Um, I firstly, like John said, I don't think there's a difference, especially lavender with such a strong fragrance, right? I think there's no
Mm.
difference in the smell of the shower gel or essential oil, or actually
Mm.
real lavenders. My next question is this: yes, it sounds very dramatic that when the boyfriend experiences that there was this smell, but
Mm.
did they really check whether the hotel has those, auto air freshener kind of thing?
Ah.
Where it goes
The
at a certain time.
Mm.
yeah.
Mm.
So could that be possible? Because then where that
Hotel
spurts
mana
out,
ada that? Hotel rooms don't
God,
have.
Go.
Which,
But
which
maybe
hotel rooms you go? The budget one I go don't have.
I don't know how budget you go, but some of them really have this last. So I'm just wondering if this was a possibility lah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Interesting. I okay. I have a different version of residual haunting, right?
Mm.
The way that I see them, is the focus is more on the residual, right? It's called a haunting because it's what you perceive it to be, but what it really is just a memory, right? Something that has been sort of ingrained in that space over time, and you're picking up on it. So maybe there was a long time resident that bathed at 3:28 a.m. every morning, okay, and that memory has been remembered, has been recorded by the space, and in a certain moment of sensitivity you pick up on that, like a replay, right? Not that the spirit is still there bathing, but it's just a replay. You pick up on the memory because it has to be routine enough to be remembered. I think Desmond mentioned, right, what a shame that they didn't go to the bathroom to check whether the shower actually was on,
Mm.
because it's a totally different story if the shower was running. Then it'll be
Mm.
more like
Or even
what
if they didn't check immediately, was the floor wet after?
correct. Yeah,
Sometimes.
Mm.
because then it'll be more like what Eugene experienced,
Mm.
right? But if it's just the sound of the shower,
Hard to
then
say. Yeah.
to me it could easily be a remembered sound.
Mm.
Okay, right? That's one. And then on the other hand, the sleep paralysis that the boyfriend experienced, given that it's the second night that he experienced it, right? So you already had a creepy thing that happened the first night.
Mm.
I think the second night, he would be primed for sleep
Even
paralysis.
if you're not scared, after you see your girlfriend being scared, you also get
Correct.
scared by association.
Yeah, and as we pointed out, the boyfriend, I think, was more triggered by it than she was.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising that he kena freaked out,
Mm.
right? Experienced sleep paralysis, immediately assumed it was some malevolent, because we often do, right? So yeah, I wish that she had checked. I think that would really sort of clarify. If you're out there in the group, please let us know. Did you actually check whether it was dry or not, whether the bathroom even had lavender soap, or shower gel? Was there a source for this lavender, right? And that'd be interesting to know.
I got a message from Karina.
Mm.
She said she has a similar experience in her hotel room. She heard someone going, "Psst." Then she smelled flowers. And she almost cried. Then only she realized later it's actually the air refreshener going, "Psst." Yeah, but
even more scary. You heard someone go psst, but someone who is floating near the ceiling because it was coming from above you. Wow.
It's actually the hantu kentut lah. That's why.
Aduh.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
maybe-
3:28 a.m. is a weird time for the thing to go psst. Or I guess it does it at regular intervals.
Yeah, so I mean, if it's regular timing, right? So
true,
yeah, residual haunting could be one. The air refreshener could be another. Hearing sounds from another bedroom could
traveling
be it.
through.
Yeah. So I think if it would make it a little bit more convincing for all of us if they go and check and really the shower's turned on and they go like, "Hey, my xiao xiao, okay?" Then shower turn off. Okay, hard to explain away, right? Right, I'll give you that. Okay, last one. The last one.
Sorry, but
Sorry,
that
go
being
ahead.
said, right, but usually a lot of paranormal incidents occur between 3 to 4 a.m.
All right.
Yes.
That seems to be the prime time. So that's very interesting because it's 3:28. I don't know what significance it has. Maybe, I don't know, maybe she actually set an alarm, but she forgot that the alarm was set at the time. Either that or she traveled and actually your watch actually changes the
the
the time
iPhone
zone.
the phone
No,
will
but
change
you know,
myself,
but
automatic.
no, but when you set alarm, right? When you go to a
Mm.
different time zone, right? It
Mm.
stays on your original time zone and it sets with the
Correct.
new time zone. So you actually time the alarm rings at a different time. So that could be a possibility as well.
But I don't think it's the air refreshener because if the air refreshener, it would have intermittently psst at more times.
She
in a
would have
day.
heard it. She would have,
Yes.
it would have come. But it could be that she never noticed it until she was freaked out.
Tough lah. Okay. Anyway, E.T. Desmond say he thirsty.
Okay, lah. EMF.
All
All right.
So what I'm having today is Saxonburg Shiraz from South Africa.
Wow, nice.
I'm not sponsored, but this is McQuakan Black Label.
I also not
Shiraz.
sponsored lah, day. I sponsored by my own pocket lah.
My second
Okay.
bottle is Pinot Noir 2013.
Wow. Okay, for those who don't drink out there, lemon yuzu vitamin water.
Oh, healthy say.
Wow,
Wow.
sounds like I can get high immediately, sir. 2 shots. High.
Okay.
Smells like shower soap.
John,
Anyway, cheers everyone. Cheers.
cheers.
All right. Cheers.
Good to be back.
Cheers. Oh.
Mm.
Okay.
12:20 right now. John, you want to take the last story?
Sure. Okay.
This one is titled The Old Man Knocks Twice. Questioned by Anon.
Just to share a freaking chilling encounter in Bangkok that happened 10 years ago. Back then, I was a relationship manager in a bank. Our branch has this twice a year team bonding activity, and usually it's an overseas trip. That year, due to our branch budget, our team decided to have our team bonding in Bangkok. We were in our 20s, so we were all really excited about the shopping, massage, and havoc drinking sessions. The hotel we chose was the something Hotel Pratunam in the Pratunam area. It was newly built and looks really swanky. Me and 3 of my colleagues, all girls, were assigned to the last 2 rooms at the corner, while the guys were staying 1 floor above us. The first 2 nights were all right. No strange encounters. It was probably because we were out the whole day and only got back to the hotel after 1 a.m. to catch a few hours of sleep before going out early the next day. On the 3rd night, we made plans to check out a new Thai pub around 10:30 p.m. Since it was raining, we decided to stay in the hotel to wait it out. Two of my colleagues staying next to our room came over to our room, the corner room, to chit chat with us. I was having a headache and decided to rest on the bed instead. I was half asleep, but I could still hear the girls chit chatting. Suddenly, we heard knocks on our door. The girls stopped chatting, and one of them went to see who it was via the peephole, but there was no one there. All of us felt a little spooked. It was a distinct and ominous series of knocks. It wasn't our imagination. Also, there was a doorbell. If it was hotel staff, they would likely press the doorbell, right? Nevertheless, the girls continued their chit chat. Less than 2 minutes later, the knocking started again, this time louder, as if someone was banging on the door. By now, I was already fully awake. One by one, my colleagues went to the peephole to check, but there was really nobody outside the door. Then someone suggested opening the door to look. Maybe it was one of the boys just trying to be funny. I had a very strong sense that something wasn't right. So I stayed in the bed while three of my colleagues opened the door. To their horror, they saw an old man standing in front of them. His back was turned to them and he was badly hunched. They couldn't see his face. Slowly, he glided towards the wall and disappeared into it. The girls screamed and slammed the door shut. When they regained their composure and related the incident to me, they were literally trembling. That night, needless to say, we ended up going to bed early and never joined the male colleagues at the Thai pub. It was our last night in Bangkok, and we had to catch the flight back home in the late afternoon. The three girls who saw the old man apparition decided to put that chilling episode behind when we got back to Singapore and went back to our normal lives. However, 5 days later, the three colleagues started falling sick one by one with the same symptoms, high fever that wouldn't go down even after medication. They were either suffering from insomnia or night terrors, and this went on for 2 weeks. One of the girls sought help from a local feng shui master, but there was no improvement. Luckily, under the recommendation of one of the girls' uncles, we went to a temple medium in Batu Pahat in Malaysia. The medium was accurately able to point out what happened in Bangkok. After some prayers and cleansing, the girls recovered.
This one is the freakiest for me, man.
Wow. It sounds like a short film that we talked about in Ghost Mortem.
3 eyewitnesses. 3. Tell me this is exhaustion. Tell me this is EMF. How do you explain this?
Hey,
ET?
why you say EMF like that?
Alamak.
Purposely one. Okay.
Sial.
All right, man. Come, E.T., what do you think?
You sure I should go first? I think I should go last.
Okay,
You want to
okay.
go last?
John, you go?
Wow. Not ready. I was reading.
Okay, I go. I go. This one, Limpego. It must be the hantu, guys. No if, no else, no then, no buts. 3 eyewitnesses account seeing old man. Old man did not walk away. Old man glided to the wall and disappeared. Okay? And we have 3 of them getting sick. And not even the type where you take medication and you can heal. And they had to go down to okay, obviously they went to see a feng shui master, and what can a feng shui master do? Okay, so this is the problem with a lot of people who are not versed in supernatural, and they cannot this kind of thing. They don't know where to seek help from. Come to Supernatural Confessions, we can guide you. Now, then when they went to the girl's uncle and they went to a temple medium in Batu Pahat, what was not written in this, but it was actually written in the actual one, was it says that they did not share any of the Bangkok story with the medium, but the medium knew exactly what happened and what they've been inflicted by. Yeah. So knocking on door, why the spirit knock on door? I cannot tell you why. I don't know why either. Is it residual? Right, when you get a recurring haunting, doesn't sound like it. So to me, it sounds like this spirit did not agree with these kids somehow. There's something about these kids that offended him, but they cannot come into the room. Maybe the room is the people carrying protection amulets or something. He cannot come in, but he keep knocking. But when I look at the image of opening the door, because don't forget, they look at the peephole, they couldn't see anything. Nothing. They opened the door, they saw the man there. back facing them, hunched very badly, glided away. If I had been there to see this, this is not something I will forget very easily, and I will be quite traumatized, to be honest. Right? Um, so to me, everything points towards this particular incident as something that is extremely paranormal, and I am I am very drawn into the story very much.
Hmm.
Because at the point of time when they were the knocking sound, don't forget, if you are saying that power suggestion, they were really afraid, like the previous story where the boyfriend was informed of the spirits, right? And the girl's experience, and then he got scared. This one, they thought it was the boys from upstairs playing a trick on them. So, yeah, I feel that this particular hotel that they have gone in, they have experienced something extremely real and rare. Okay, John.
I'm curious to know. I mean, okay, as I was reading it, my first response was, my first thought was, would I stay in the room after that? Would I be too scared to go out? Or would I be too scared to stay? And would I rather spend the night at the Tai Pub, with the safety of people and noise, all right, than just have a thin door between me and the old man who glides through walls, therefore,
No, but I can understand, because if I were to go out, I would have to step out of my room.
But I will go to the Thai pub.
I wouldn't think that far ahead. Right now, I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there. He glides through walls, for goodness sake.
But you know how people, when they are afraid, they run to the room and pull the blanket over themselves, because that thin blanket gives them the security. And these are, I would imagine that they found more security in the room than being outside.
And with red underwear.
Maybe they all these girls never wear the red thongs lah. That's why.
I think they trap themselves even more by being in the room, So several things occur to me, I can't draw a conclusion from them, but they're interesting. Number one is the interesting fact that the story is being told by the one person who was not an eyewitness, right? So that's very interesting, right? And because she didn't see, she didn't fall sick, right? So some clues are suggested by this. I do think that if I saw something like that, like the three friends, and then were terrified enough to experience night terrors subsequently, I would fall sick. Psychosomatically speaking, I would have freaked myself so badly, I would fall sick. Anyway, whether or not they were cursed by the old man, or was it a situation where you see you kena, right? But there's also the very simple fact that seeing something like this will throw you into a spin and your body just collapse. All right, you're not gonna be well. You're not gonna be well because you can't deal, right? So the falling sick was a natural, I think, follow on, but whether it was the sight of the old man that cursed them, I had to say lah, right? There are possibilities, right? I think he was a much stronger entity, possibly, if there was such a thing, possibly a god. Every time I see old man, I don't think ghost first. I think deity. And when you said offended, even more interesting. Right, because easier to offend deities lah, because they atas, right? Why knock on one door and then glide through a wall, I guess, is a question that stays in my mind. Because I assume you glide into a wall, that was someone else's room, right?
Yeah.
I assume opposite the corridor, right? So you glided into someone else's room. So did he come out of that room, want to get in? I don't know, right? That one puzzles me a little bit. See, Ernest Doe is also saying that means the old man was in the room and knocked on the door to be let out.
Oh.
Ha ha ha. Well, but then he's knocking the wrong door, right?
Oh, unless it was room. He's in the room.
Huh? No, but he wasn't in the room. That's the point. He was outside the door, facing the other room.
Or maybe by the time they open, he already has moved out and he continued gliding.
Then no need to knock, he already could go out.
He's inside, he's like, hey, Kaiman, walao, this woman, all chit chat. Walao, that annoying leh. 让我出去.
Then 你不开门，我自己去. Then he just flew. I don't know. Hard to say, right? Hard to say. You like that make fun, Tonight you fever. See?
I already not feeling well already,
But I think the sight of the figure not looking, right, but facing away and the face hidden, that's just, that's just icing on the
Creepy,
cake lah.
yeah.
Yeah, creepy as hell, right? But okay, come, ET.
Okay, E.T., take us over with this one.
What's your take?
Very interesting, because John actually brought up something which it didn't occur to me until now. So why does only the people that see the so-called hantu get sick? Actually, generally they're in the same vicinity. Why only
Correct.
those that use the eyes and see then get sick? Why? Is it because our eyes very important? You know, they said, right, COVID last time can go through eyes or don't know what, right? Don't know this kind of crap. But hantu, I don't see why. But that's very interesting, because I realized that many paranormal so-called occurrence, right? It's only the fella that sighted something
Correct.
that kena. The fella next to you never see. Why don't kena? So is it real that because the eyes are the window to the soul, that means a different message, that it really goes right into you? I mean, I just had this epiphany like
So
1
Chun,
minute ago.
imagine Merlion said the exact same line.
Oh, really?
When you said
Where?
the exact timing.
Really?
Yeah, the eyes are the windows
the
to
eyes
your
are the
soul.
windows to your soul.
Yeah, so I really wondered, because when John said that, then I had this epiphany. Really, is that it? Because my 20 years, right, that has never occurred to me. So this is something new, because I never realized that until now. So that could be a possibility. Okay, so why I wanted to go last is because, as much as I want to say that it was their imagination, but their experiences sound exactly like something I've been through.
Oh, nice.
And if you remember my Red Hill experience, right? I
Yes.
was sick for 2 weeks. I had
Yes.
recurring nightmares, which is very, very consistent with what they said. I was so sick, I was actually coughing blood, and I was going weaker and weaker. Now, that was not the only thing. Now I'm telling you that the back of the hair, the back of my neck is standing. Now, reading about that hunchback old man, it really sent shivers down my spine, even though I read this in the day, because they sent me this a few days ago. I read it in the day. I have this exact same experience. Okay, now I'm telling you, it's really damn creepy. Okay, I have this same experience before. I woke up before in cold sweat, and when I turned to the left of my bed, there was this old lady that was shivering, squatting next to my bed, just by my bedside. It was within arm's reach. And I don't know why, but when I read this story, the entire feeling is very different when I do a CSI for most stories, which is why I told Tay to leave this to the last, because it should be the finale, because it just sends shivers down my spine. And you don't have many stories that send that kind of shivers down my spine. So whatever they said seems very, very consistent to a typical type of real haunting that we cannot explain.
Are you
And
saying?
especially when I have actually experienced it. I'm not saying that only when I experience it's hantu lah, but this one seems very intriguing. Everything points to the spot that it might not actually be the EMF. So cheers. And with all the stories that we went through, this one actually has every single evidence. They went to check. They had people falling sick. They had multiple weaknesses. So everything points to the fact that it might be something that's actually paranormal.
It must be the.
No, I wouldn't say it must be, but there's a very high chance, like 80 to 90% chance, it might not be something that can be explained by science.
It's probably the.
I don't know, some
You're not gonna get
Thai
it. You're not gonna get
kawan,
it.
you know, and stuff like that. But I would think that this really points to the fact that it's probably a very legit haunting.
OMG!
That's why this must be the last story, because I really think it's really very intriguing. Everything points to a real fact that this is probably something not ordinary, and it's probably something that's paranormal.
Oh my god. We have it.
Interesting.
We have it, guys.
Interesting.
Of all the stories, this was the best story I felt. And John felt the same way. Tay also felt the same way. We all had the same feeling towards this story.
Oof.
Okay lah. If it really means so much to you all, yes, okay. I think there's a chance, a very small chance, it might be the freaking hantu.
Alrighty! Cheers! Oh, look at that t-shirt, man. Look at that t-shirt. Beautiful.
Okay. Okay,
No, but really,
interesting.
this one, oh my God, Joel Go just sent in $20 and says go. Yeah. Ah,
so so my question is, what hantu?
It's definitely not the hantu tete.
hantu orang tua,
I have no idea why it is,
hantu
but
bongkok.
so that's a very interesting question that John asked, because why were they being disturbed?
Yeah,
Could they have
you know.
actually ruffled some feathers and stuff like that? I can't remember the story. Guys, can you refresh me? Was it a corner room? I don't think it was. Was it
Oh
a
no,
corner room?
no, I think it's a
It's
corner
not a
room.
No.
corner room, right? Was it a corner room?
Okay. Yes, corner
Corner
room.
room.
Okay, so
Corner room.
in my research, right, I was reading about all the superstitions and stuff like that. They say you should never take the corner room, which I never believe. Like, why lah?
Mm,
Why? I mean, okay, so to me, the corner room is because it probably has the most echo, because like it's like empty corridor kind of thing, right? So it
mm,
kind of like bounces off walls and stuff like that.
right.
But why the corner room, right? Because nobody wants it. So okay, so this is another interesting thing. Just this not, I don't know if it's called superstition or anything, but don't be a bitch when you're dealing with the hotel staff. Okay, don't insist when they say they're fully booked and you say you want a room, because chances are they probably give you a room like that. Okay, so prove me wrong and go for it so we can have another confession and a story to tell.
Mm.
Because that's what they say. I have no idea because I don't work in a hotel, but I do hear many stories that there are hotel rooms which are reserved and they're not meant to give it out. And if you really insist it, then you might actually have a very interesting story for us.
Right. Well, this is
Mm.
for Cara moderators that consists of Janan, consists of Lynn and Ivan. To this is a call out for you guys to work with the community, and I mean, do what you guys have done today. I'm so grateful for confessions that came in, and you see we have ran till 12:37, and I honestly do not feel that it's been that long. It's been 3 hours. And all the
Wow.
confessions
Three,
were
three, 3 hours more and the shower will come on and you will smell lavender. So
3:28 exactly.
I will try and
standby.
smell it because
Yeah.
I have sleep apnea, so I'll see whether that
All
smell can
right,
wake me
man.
up.
Oh my goodness. It's wonderful. I love today's session. Thank you so much, John. Thank you so much, ET, Mods, and especially all you guys watching us tonight and up to 12:37 a.m. Joining us this Friday, Good Friday evening. Thank you to Elaine Chua, Joel Go as well, and all our Patreons for
Mm,
supporting us, giving us your love and support to make this thing possible. I
yeah.
I I don't know what to say. I mean, someone Erickson, who's actually one of the pioneers of Supernatural Confession, says he counted. It's only
Mm.
2 times in 6 years, 4 years, four. Now it's the fifth year.
Wait, I only say it was a high chance. I didn't say it
We
was.
will buy that high chance. We will take that we will take that. We'll
Good
take
enough.
good enough. Good enough.
Good enough.
Yeah. So if you want to support us, patreon.com, patreon.com /supernatural confessions.
Mm,
You can join us at different tiers for different perks. We are here every Friday. And of course, just a big shout out again, once again, if you want to do the cleansing of Pancha Kosha, this is with Guru Murali. It's on the 15th of April. Contact me for information. I'm just organizing this because I am going for it myself. So anybody wants to come
mm.
along, feel free. We will just split the cost. And well, ET is always a blast having you on show. So hopefully, you let people see your t-shirt lah.
Wait, I never wear my other hat lah. After Timo
Ooh.
say I never wear the other hat.
Yeah, where the other hat? Where the other hat? Tell us a
Quite
bit
kena
more about
maki,
this
no.
other hat. What's this other hat about? Tell us.
Wait.
What were
Actually,
you
both hats he
doing?
gave me because he said I got no hair.
Oh
So
my
it's
god.
Cannot hear you. He
the
cannot
boots
hear
lah,
you. He cannot hear you.
Hey, your hair got
See
lesser
the hat?
since the last time.
All right. What's the hat say?
Okay. People is wondering
Oh.
what happened after you guys take a step back from Supernatural Confessions. Where can they
Okay,
find your podcast?
so actually we took a long break lah because we got kids and stuff like that, right? And really, kids are running around the corridors. You hear, right? I tell you that,
The
which is why
reality is worse than the haunting.
I'm so certain it wasn't the hantu, because I hear my kids running in the next room. It sounds like hantu, the exact same thing.
And then
So
suddenly they're at school.
exactly, no. Their school is totally peaceful. Confirm no haunting one. The only haunting comes when they come back from school. So yes, thank you guys. Thank you for having me on. I think Tim was on a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
We're running
He
Radio
was a
Paranormal
pilot.
Singapore.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we're running Radio Paranormal Singapore.
Mm.
The thing is, we're having a break because Tim and I, we're not as active as you guys. We got our stuff to do, and we are really dealing with the hantus, which is actually our kids. So it really takes us some time to produce episodes, and both of us are OCD and everything. So Tim wants everything perfect and stuff like that. And you know how I am, right? I just like say things, and so it needs to be edited and stuff. So it really takes some time to get the show together.
Mm.
So I'm glad that I'm back here.
Mm.
Really brings back a lot of memories from the days
Mm.
that we were operating out of Tim's condo. Which is why the first thing I asked, like, where's Elvin? Because I don't trust Tay with his, electronics and stuff. Because there's one entire episode, I don't know what episode that was, that we were
Uh,
talking and everything, and Tay did not plug the microphone in. Lah.
No, I plug
oh man.
instead of plugging into the mic, I plug into the headphone jack. So we didn't
Ah.
record sound for the whole
So we
episode.
recorded the whole thing. Well, right, let's edit it. Then it was just like static, no sound.
Wow.
That was Tay.
Yeah. I come a long way since then. Now new mic, new lighting.
Yes,
new
yes, yes. It was
camera.
perfect. That's why I was so surprised. But yes, Tay
Nice.
has really improved. Hair and everything has got better, I guess. So thank you guys. Thank you for having me. Hope to
Mm.
catch you guys again on Supernatural Confessions. If not, Radio Paranormal Singapore, we're talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
it's something that we work together.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And
Yay.
a live show that we're going to have at the end of this year. Hopefully, you guys can make it as well. We have not planned anything for it yet, but we'd love to have our Hall of Famers back. I feel that Singapore is such a small place, and we all love the Hantu. And this kind of there's only so much content I can cut and produce a week, right? And different hosts, different style, different channels. If you guys are a fan of Supernatural in Singapore, for this very small freaking tiny island, there is absolutely no lack in great high quality Supernatural content. So thank you so much. Perhaps one day we'll go for our Mukata again. Yeah.
Oh, wait, I need to say something as well. So
Mm.
knowing Tay for so long, he's introduced me, I've thanked him and everything. I have to mention John as well. I've always met John when he runs his chestnuts thing, and he's always my hero, right? So before this show, we spoke a bit, and I'm glad that this
Right.
guy is standing on the side of the EMF lah.
Eh,
Anyone that's not on the hunt, wait, Tay, keep quiet first, okay? Let me talk. Tay, I'm a guest. I have the right to talk.
Relax.
So as long anyone's not standing on the side of the hantu, I'm really glad that John is the guy that's really logical lah. That
alamak.
he would give that balance to this show, and which is why I think this show would be great because I see that similarity. He see the points he picked up because honestly,
Mm.
John has never seen my notes. In fact, I didn't even share my
Nope.
notes to any of
Nope.
them. When he said things, I was like, hey, what the hell? I'm very sure Tay or Tim won't pick this up. How come this guy pick up? So I think it's going to be perfect. And
Mm.
yes, I think this show is going to be really far, go really far because he has the ability to actually be the EMF. Lah. He's going to be
All
the next
right, man.
EMF, I'm telling you.
Grooming Eddie.
You guys
Wow.
better watch out. Prepare your glasses. John is going to be the EMF.
That was
Yeah.
a legacy moment right there.
Legacy.
Yeah.
All right, man. I feel
12:45 a.m. You guys have been a wonderful audience hanging out with us all this time. We have still 200 concurrent viewers. It's crazy. Thank you so
Alright,
much, guys. Good night, everybody. And we'll be back next week. Next week, Melanie will be joining us. Melanie is someone, if you have been for our live show last year, she stood up and she was the one who spoke up because she's an ex-police woman. And she
Yeah.
told a story. And she actually confessed something, or I recorded it on video, but she's also coming in as a guest next Friday. Okay. Also, Kimberly the nurse, one of our very first few. John. Et, Kimberly, right? Kimberly and
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. So she and her husband is going to make an appearance as well. So
Nice.
really, we have a lot of things in store for you. Once again, patreon.com/supernatural confessions is the way you can support us, buy us a coffee as well. And just tune in, listen to us, give us a comment. Thank you to the moderators, Cara and team, for supporting us in today's wonderful special edition. ET Paranormal Radio Singapore, go check them out. In fact, on Spotify, if you go to Supernatural Confessions under recommended,
Yeah.
You'll see them as well. High quality
EMF,
shit.
EMF,
Let's
EMF.
drink this shit up.
All
Okay,
right, man.
let's before I say our
Also,
good night, yeah,
also
go ahead.
tomorrow, Eugene and I will be in Changi again. We are starting up our new round of
Yeah.
Walk with Hantu Changi tours. So
Today was the
one
first
is
day, right? Was it
tomorrow.
yesterday? Yesterday?
Tomorrow,
Tomorrow's the
one.
It
first
starts
day.
today because every Thursday and
Oh,
Saturday.
today, yes, today now. Yeah,
But tomorrow we are at full house already.
nice.
Next week
Can you
also
guys?
full house.
Do they allow you guys to enter?
No
Actually,
lah, cannot.
No,
you sure?
Yeah.
Try lah.
I the last time I tried, I go in, I got a phone call from Bedok
Yeah.
camp, Bedok police station lah.
No, do you
Yeah,
remember
he's-
that we
he's-
were there? No, Tay, do you
he's-
remember when we were there during the tour?
Yeah,
The last time with Team O actually as a
correct,
guest,
correct.
and
Mm.
people actually saw figures in the window. Do you
Yes,
remember that?
yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
And
that's
then-
why this is a legit thing.
Correct.
It's not bullshit,
Mm.
guy. Because honestly, I went to the most haunted house in Scotland, voted
Mm.
by the BBC.
Ah,
Wow, boring. I tell you, Old Changi
Ah.
Hospital,
still the
that's the
best.
place to
Changi is
be.
still
Let me
the
tell you
place.
that.
They cannot
Mm.
compete. They cannot compete.
Mm.
So please, if you're interested in Changi at all, before Changi becomes so pretty that the ghosts move out, all right, before it gets cleaned up, right, gather your
Exactly.
friends. Let us know if you're interested. There's a super discount for all SC folks, right? So you can find out more. It's all on the webpage. And
Sorry,
actually
can I
now,
ask? So where are you guys leading them to? Just curious. So then everyone can hear where you
all
guys are.
corners of Changi, all corners of Changi.
10 solid locations. Actually, no,
Oh,
you know
10.
what?
Wow,
Yeah.
that's more than what we used to do, man.
Hey, why didn't you come down for our tour as well, ET?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
sleep by
come and
then
join
already
us.
lah. Know what time the thing start?
7:30. Finish at
we do
10:15.
we do a
Huh?
morning tour for you, lah.
Ah,
No, does everyone know the location? Because I would love to know the location.
Changi Ferry Terminal. We start there. We go along the boardwalk, right?
Okay.
We go up by the main road, and we go. Okay, so some places you have the SQ,
Sports Center,
Center, Changi
Okay.
Hospital, of course.
Okay.
Chalet M.
Cannot. Actually, yeah, that one. So
Yeah.
don't want to say too much online.
Oh,
Yeah, don't
so
want to
sorry,
spoil
sorry,
it,
it's
don't
secret,
spoil it.
secret.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it sounds like the places we used to go, and
Yeah,
these are really. I mean, everyone always asks me. I've been a paranormal researcher for so long. They ask me, "What's the most haunted place?" It's exactly the places where you guys are going to.
Yeah.
Changi is like, for some freaking reason, right, the most haunted place. I don't know
Because
if
it's in the
it's.
corner. It's in the corner.
But I tell you, but no, wait. Besides the corner, right? There are satellite dishes. Got what? Got what? Got what?
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
yeah, man. Bottoms up, man.
Well, bottoms up a bit fierce, lah.
I'm done. Okay,
Can.
let's say our goodbyes, guys.
Good night, guys.
That's it. What the fuck?
Huh?
You lost it.
Oh,
Good night,
Tagline,
guys.
tagline time. Tagline
Oh,
time.
really? Oh, sorry.
Okay,
Sorry.
come. I'll guess that first. Come.
It must be the EMF.
Oh, yeah.
John, over to
Okay.
you.
Okay. Remember, when you go to a hotel, knock on the door, but it doesn't help you because the ghosts are in the corridor. Good night.
And the greatest trick that the devil has ever pulled is convince you that everything must be the EMF. Good night, everybody. We'll see you
Good night,
guys,
guys.
next week.
Ciao.
Bye.
Good night.
What did you find? You are listening to Supernatural Confessions.